I did 4 Clarence games last year out of 5 for a year, so I was fairly familiar with that list. But half of them got a few years. So
I was watching that one I only played it 2 years ago.
yeah.
Oh, anyone?
Special comments, yeah, that's more. Oh, I would. So I think there's a bit different. I'd make it clear that that's what I'm really interested in doing. And yeah, and especially so like, you really just need to know the game. You can demonstrate, you understand the score, how most do it.
What you could do is basically isolate some players, stop a bit, and then you can ultimately, that's when you shine. Yeah, exactly. Just those little breaks where you can get insights into why what is happening.
As you demonstrate, you can do that basically, simply getting it out basically what they want us to do.
Yeah, the hardest thing I found is to not step over last year. I stayed silent for what I should. So, but yeah, just not wanting to step over. Get some of the story or adding some notes.
So like it doesn't have to. It's on the boundary, you can go and play a little bit more. Right. They don't forget everything, but if it's inside 50 and there's a stoppage, you want to go out. Yeah, that's probably the way you would go on. Break down the play. You go in between it.
Yeah, sweet.
And yeah, just like someone takes a mark about them, check the goal, the other person can give kind of special comments type role after goal and stuff. And yeah, I seem to try and work on 1 minute handovers.
Yep.
That works for you.
Perfect. Cool. No problem. From what I hear, this should be pretty free-flowing and high scoring. Good.
Yeah,
That's the way it all
probably that. It's a pretty open box split.
Similar style.
If I can get access to house, I'm going to go down if we know. That would be great.
Struggling.
Yeah.
those headsets working? Good levels. Hearing you.
Points. Good to be here at Ninja Stadium, testing 1, 2, 3.
You can hear yourselves.
Can hear myself. Good.
Okay. Inside a few things through the lights.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, plenty of league action.
Pleasure to bring this game to you this afternoon. Forward in this contest as Josh Green just bending one back around the corner and hitting the post. Ragdolling, but raging umpires when you get for any decision, even if it was blatant as they come. Yes, angry is vital.
Just
If a ruckman is a bit of a pest, it's even better. Good.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Ninja Stadium, Belrive Oval for round 8 SFL Premier League clash between Clarence and Kingborough. It's a glorious day for football here. The sun is shining. I'm Andrew Cooling, joining me to call the action and take the first bounce. It's Adam Webster. Good afternoon, Adam.
Afternoon, Andrew. Really exciting to see what promises to be an exciting, high-scoring contest between these two teams. Reality of Kingborough in their two halves last week against Brighton. Clarence with a statement game against North Hobart. They've obviously exceeded everyone's expectations so far as we get set for the first bounce, where it's Bresniak up against Richmond. Beautiful day at Ninja Stadium. As usual for this time of year, pretty chilly, but pretty still as well, which is nice.
Yeah, no discernible advantage to either end, I don't think.
No. All set to go. Richmond following up his own work with the second effort. Now through the centre go Clarence forward. And the mark is taken at half forward there by Mapley. Mapley inside 50 in the green direction. Easy as that. Josh Green, second in the leading goal scorers for the Premier League.
Yeah, it's a super pass there. Big Max Mapley leads out, takes the mark, and you can see all his teammates getting around to him. Love the centre half forward presenting like that and just guided Green to the ball. Great start for the Roos.
That was the work of Ben Richmond as well. The second, then the third effort to be able to get the clearance and set up Josh Green for this early shot on goal. The veteran, the star, rolls in and just misses off to the left. So opens up proceedings with the behind.
Certainly someone who knows his way around in the big sticks at this ground, Josh Green. Someone the Tigers will need to keep quiet if they're a chance to cause the upset here this afternoon as they look to reload off half back. Just floating over the top there of Williamson. They've got numbers at the fall of the ball. Here's Norton, scoops the handball to Bush, but he just lost a hold of it. Trickles out of play for a ball in. Mr. Norton, real smooth mover. Someone they'd love to get ball in the hands of at half forward. So good at hitting up targets inside that forward 50. It's tossed back in. Richmond and Brzezinskiak. Richmond easily over the top looking for Norton. Gudomski starting on the ball, interestingly, for the Tigers today, burrowing in after it and lays a tackle, spills out, trying to crash through Brzezinskiak, but here now is Harper, who emerges with the football, sends them inside 50, but Salter dropping back to intercept.
Kingborough with the opportunity to go to the far side wing through Brower. Brower with a little scrubbing ball there to Harwell. Harwell inside 50 in the direction of Flanagan, but it's cut off and Clarence are able to come away with it on the outer wing. Little chipping ball, and now Clarence just playing possession game. Here's Paprotny into the centre of the ground, direction of Norton. Norton switching to Johnston. And now with the releasing handball, opportunity here for Gateman. It was Norton. Now's Bush. Bush inside 50. A low ball in the green direction. Roving it, though, was Cooney, who kicks the first goal of the afternoon for the Roos.
Yeah, sharp finish from Daniel Cooney. Swooped on that one. Finished very tidily. Just outnumbered them at half forwards there. The Tigers seemed to have plenty of bodies in the corridor, and it was kind of a 4-on-2 situation at half forward. They were lining up for the Roos, and going to need to do a better job of cutting off the supply because some danger signs early in this one.
Tell you what, as a young North Hobart supporter from the 90s and 2000s, seeing names like Cooney, Gapin, it gives me really bad memories, Andrew.
There are some famous footballing names out there on display today, that's for sure. So one of the two Gapin boys out there today. It's good to see Tasmanian football royalty, really, coming through again. So Clarence draw first blood here as they go back to the middle. Richmond dominating the early hit-outs, but this one's sharked by Gordon. He coughed it straight up to Norton. Norton lofts one in the Green direction, and Green has his second mark inside 50 already. Just getting separation from Clifford, but some pretty nice service he's getting out of the middle early on.
Just hit top speed there over about a 25-metre period, Josh Green, and just weighted perfectly by Norton, who's started this game beautifully.
Yeah, it was a really intelligent kick. Saw the good 20 metres of space ahead of him. Just lofted it out there. So Green, having missed his first shot, we'll see if he can improve here. He's slightly further out, so he wheels around to his right to buy some extra distance. Has it got the carry? It does. Josh Green nails that one. And the Roos have 2 early goals. It's a fast start for the home side at Ninja.
Andrew, always judge a goal kicker on their ability to correct their mistake. The earlier miss by Josh Green, he was able to, get that extra distance, but also just pitch it exactly right to go over the line. He was slightly to the left last time and makes no mistake this time. He's such a class player for this league.
Yeah, he's looming large early, isn't he? And the ball's coming in there at a fair rate of knots. They've just got to start winning a bit more of the ball around the contest at the moment, the Tigers.
His 28th goal for this season, Josh Green, and with the service he's had so far, we might see him add to that total again just yet as we get going again. Big Richmond down once again in the direction of Harper. Harper with the clearance inside 50, back in the Green direction. It will go straight past him and near Clifford. Clifford will see it out of bounds and he's going to throw in the forward pocket for Clarence. It's barely, I think they've had one entry so far in the first 5 minutes of this contest, Kingborough. So some danger signs early on for the Tigers, similar to their first half last week. We reset play. It's Mapley in the ruck, roving that, and an easy goal. Beautiful work there by Speed, who put on the speed, and it was a left-footed snap for Clarence's third goal. This is danger signs for me, Andrew. 3 goals in 6 minutes. Kingborough have barely fired a shot.
It's the ease at which they're scoring too that's got to be setting off alarms here for the Tigers. They are just leaking goals at the moment and leaking clearances. The ball is just flying in there. The defence struggling to cope. Maybe they might need to try and drop someone behind the ball, although you can't really do that from the 6-6-6, and the ball's just being waltzed out of the middle at the moment. That they were slow starters against Brighton last week, woke up in the second half. They're going to need to wake up a little sooner this week or it could get very ugly. The Roos look in a mood. Back to the middle. Definitely doing the ruck work this time. Won it down to Norton. His handball was blocked off, but he'll get the clear and kick forward again. They go. Dangerous ball just in front of Millward. Playing up at ground level, arching back with Speed. Retreating backwards. Defensive effort there. Grew up. Spills out, towed away from Brzezinskak. Trying to bust through was Brereton. He found Salter. Salter now clears it up towards centre wing. A massive body's there on the wing. Spills out the back, and Clarence have got numbers. They work it through the corridor. Nice work there. Got it to Harper. Guided inside the forward 50. Oh, dropping an absolute soda there was Speed. I think was perhaps stunned at the ease at which he got free. Trying to bust through there was Williamson. And it's across the line and a bullet dodge there for the Tigers.
That was an absolute soda. He'd love to have his time again. Would young Speed. He kicked the previous goal, Brody, but that's one he'd love to have back, I'm sure. If we get set again inside 50 for the Roos. Stoppage with Mapley over the top in the direction of Green. He's defended well. Now it's Norton with the outside of the left boot. But on the last line of defence, Kingborough able to mop up. This will head out towards Brower. An opportunity for Kingborough to get something positive going in this contest. Here's Godomski on the wing. Now they foray inside 50 or close to it. Here's Carter. Carter, the low left-footed ball only goes so far as Turner. He'll see it over the line and there'll be a stoppage. He hit the fence very hard, did Fraser Turner. But opportunity for Kingborough, their first meaningful foray forward, Andrew.
Yeah, Flanagan could have given away a free kick there with the little shove afterwards. Perhaps fortunate to get away with that. But a chance for a forward 50 set up here. Swooping on the ball was Burgess, but he coughs up the handball to Harper. Hands low with the look-away handball. That was slick. Works its way to Sylvester. Back to Johnson. Lost his footing, and now he's claimed by Clifford. And locks it in for a ball up.
It's exactly what Kingborough have to do. They have to slow down the scoring rate of Clarence, make it difficult for them to transition into their forward 50 and just lock it in for a while.
Clifford a key mover. They need a spark from him. Can he get them going here? He looks to weave onto his right foot. Drives it up towards the hot spot. Burgess, one juggle, two juggle, couldn't bring it in. Flanagan lays a tackle. Spills out the way of Dygan, who couldn't quite direct his effort and won a score only.
So Kingborough's first score of this contest. And now an opportunity for Clarence to work it outside 50 once again, heading in the direction of Glover. Over the top there. Now there's Williamson on the outer side. Clarence once again moving it very quickly over the wing. Here's Hanslow. And inside 50 they go. And, absolutely crunched. It'll be play on. It'll be Josh Green. And it'll be his second goal.
Well, just sliced him to pieces through the corridor, didn't they? It was wonderful movement off the football through half back, just cut through the middle of the ground, and suddenly they just had numbers everywhere out the back forward of the ball. Collision there allows Green to run in and kick another one, but again, it's the ease of which they're moving the ball forward that's got to be a massive concern for Kingborough. 24 points in arrears here. We've only just gone past 10 minutes.
We've called a lot of action so far, Andrew, and you said it best at the start of the game. Josh Green is getting great service. If that wasn't a free kick, it was going to be a goal through Josh Green anyway. So it's just pick your poison at this point for Clarence once they get it inside 50. Kingborough just hapless behind the ball right now.
Yeah, Oscar Poprotny looked up, saw a 2-on-1, and very happily guided that one there. This one's down and up and under kick from Brewer towards half forward, not much purchase on it. Spills out. Pressure coming from Harnwell, but they work it wide. Nice work there from Mapley. Gets it to Green on the outer wing. Green with a lovely guiding kick to Hanslow in the corridor. Flicks the handball over the top to Cooney. He's kicked one. He lets fly from 45. He's kicked two. And the procession continues for the Roos. They can do no wrong. Cooney has a pair. Clarence have 5. And Kingborough are at sea.
You said it best, Andrew. It's the ease of which they're moving the ball inside 50. As soon as they get clean possession, it's bang, 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 inside 50, high profile, high quality shot on goal. And they're not missing.
No, they're taking their chances. And it was a wonderful piece of vision from Josh Green that opened it up with the kick on the wing. He looked inboard, saw Hanslow, picked him out. The ball use has been impressive, but they're not being put under enough pressure, which is allowing him to do that.
There's a lot to talk about at quarter time here, but we've got a long way to go until we hit quarter time. It's only been 12 minutes gone. Here's Richmond tapping in the direction of Green, who's now in the middle. He overruns it. On the ground there is Brower. Tackle applied by Clarence there, hard at it. And rewarded will be Williamson, who'll work it to the top of the 50. But it's cut off here, an opportunity for Kingborough to do something really positive in the Henry direction. It goes a little bit further. Here's Godomski on the wing. Hitting up but missing his target. Really good work from Williamson. And forcing it out of bounds and a throw in here on the just beside centre wing. Kingborough side of the ground. See the ball movement from Kingborough. It's so difficult for them to be able to get any purchase on the ball. This time, though, they have an opportunity here through Harnwell. He's tackled, though, and the ball up.
Well, we saw a couple of names out there that we wondered who they'd come in for. It's become abundantly clear who one of the outs is, and that's Kieran Lovell. And as a result, they're being smashed around the ball, missing probably the best player in the competition, and it's been noticeable so far as Harnwell sends them forward. Can they get something from this? Again, the defence slammed it shut, but just coughing it up to Carter there. And now Flanagan with a chance, and it's a rash shot and it's offline, and they just needed to take that chance. It was an error there from Harper, who coughed it up to Carter, but they can't punish them again.
And we see, once again, Clarence able to get a couple of clean, uncontested marks outside 50. This time, it's Turner. It's going across the face of goal. For a team with the precision of Clarence through Williamson, they've got a great opportunity to go forward once again. But it's Kingborough this time through Brower. And they cough it up. Clarence heading forward. Sharing the ball there was Williamson. Now inside 50 it goes, but it's chopped off. And Kingborough across the face of goal and just outside 50 they go. It's tracked down though. Here's Hanslow. Off to Harper. And now in through Bush to the top of the square. And a beautiful mark to Mapley.
And just punishing turnovers. Looking up, and as a result, just men free inside 50. His name written all over that one, Max Mapley. He had some space, and again, they're just hitting targets inside 50 with a consummate ease right now.
The quality shots on goal as Max Mapley comes in from about 25 metres out, directly in front, and makes no mistake. Clarence roll on. 6 goals won to 2 behinds. We've only played 15 minutes. We spoke about it potentially getting ugly if Kingborough don't play to the level that they were able to achieve last week, Andrew Cooling, and it's heading in that direction very early.
Yeah, 6 goals in, and we've probably only just gone past the halfway mark of the first term. They just need to find some way to stem the bleeding, get themselves a goal. It's some positive momentum, because right now they can do no right and Clarence can do no wrong. Starts in the middle, Brzezinski and Richmond. Richmond comes over the top and won it down decisively. Harper handballing back inside. Hanslow looks to guide one up towards half forward, and Glover was spoiled away there. Brereton following up, applying some pressure. Brewer kicks it round the corner, searching for Burgess. He's got a couple to beat, so just cleverly paddles it away from McGann. Couldn't gather at ground level though. Now in comes Hanslow. Swept the handball to Glover, back inside to Richmond. Some wonderful work by hand there, and they get it back to Hanslow, who has his kick down. Tigers regain the football. Ogilvie, who was a late in, perhaps for Kieran Lovell, sends it up towards the half-forward line. Carter trapped underneath the football, spills out the back towards Flanagan, but Johnston just takes it away from him. Backing back to Williamson under pressure, but skips around one, and ugly worm burner of a kick though. Coughed it up to Harnwell, who sends it deep towards the goal square. Couple of numbers here for the Tigers, but it won't sit. And rolls on through for a behind. It's a score, but not the score they're looking for.
Just not able to take advantage of these deep inside 50 entries, Kingborough. As it's Richmond the target, and he takes a strong mark. Releases Bush. Bush along the wing, in the green direction. His opponent overplayed it. So here's Josh Green. Has a bounce. Does the team thing into the centre of the ground. Scrubs off the defender's foot, and it will be a boundary throw in deep inside 50 for Clarence. But once again, Andrew, the ball movement, it took mere seconds for Clarence to get from a kick out to deep inside their 50. Mapley to do the ruck work. Just works his opponent under the ball. Follows up really nicely. Getting that was Bresniak in. Now Mapley following up his older work. Turner over the ball. Here's Cooney. Has a wild shot. And Kingborough able to clear it into the near wing. But it's just not a positive foray forward for Kingborough at any point in this contest.
No, they are certainly struggling at the moment. As Sam Duggan comes on, try and change that. They have dropped. Still haven't dropped a player behind the ball, which surprises me a little at this stage. Brzezinskak takes it away. Fight out the handball to Parker. Parker guides Brewer into some space. He's under some pressure here, though, from Sylvester, who tries to get the better of him at ground level. Was able to force it out in the Banks direction. Just unable to trap that one there. It was Knighton. And the umpire will call for it.
It's clean possession, so hard to come by the Tigers in this contest. They just can't get a run on it.
Yeah, they look fumbly, and Clarence, by contrast, looking so clean. Richmond slaps that one over the top. Handball, a good one to Hanslow. Hanslow to Paprotny. Paprotny looks up, sends them inside again. Williamson, spoiled away from him nicely by Brereton, but Williamson bounced back up with the football, guides it in the Norton direction. An almighty leap, he couldn't quite reel it in. And the Tigers look to ping off half back. Kick there to Knighton. Get the ball moving down the wing. Defending this one is Williamson. Away from Flanagan. He had some support there in the form of Harper, who bends it towards Mapley. Took an unkind bounce. Norton. Oh, lovely stuff over the top to Harper. He's got a wide open target inside forward 50 again. And Williamson accepts that one. And he'll go back and kick for his side, 7th.
Just still trying to get over Baxter Norton's little climb there in the square. Andrew, that would have made every single social post, not just here, but potentially elsewhere in Australia as well.
It was a great leaf, wasn't it? Couldn't quite bring it in, Norton. So Ethan Williamson to extend the lead to 40 points. And he does just that. Clarence have their 7th, and as we just tick into red time in quarter number 1, it's a sizable lead they've got. They are nailing their chances, and it's 40 points to break for the home side.
I think the thing that strikes me is just how harrowing it is for a Kingborough player right now. Whenever they get their hands anywhere close to the ball, they're beset upon by a Clarence defender, tackler. And for Clarence, whenever they get their hands on the ball, they know exactly what they're doing. They're decisive. They're able to move it quickly. They're taking territory in mere seconds, and they're getting such high-quality looks at goal.
Yeah, they are, and they're taking them too. There is no let-off for these Tigers right now.
So we'll reset in the middle. Richmond, once again, working it in the Harper direction, who applies the tackle. Kingborough with the opportunity for a inside 50 in the direction of Daigan. Now to the back of the pack. Tackle applied, gang tackle applied. Beautiful work there by Paprotny. And another turnover inside 50 from Kingborough. They don't take their chance once again. It's the ruckman Richmond getting it on the outer wing in the direction of Norton. Scrap for the ball on the outer wing. He'll head forward. Once again, Richmond right in the thick of it. He's been given a free kick and an opportunity for the Roos once again to move it rather quickly. Richmond, though, that kick fell short, right into the hands of Doyle. So a little bit of ping-pong. Opportunity for Kingborough. And they've just played kick-to-kick with each other, Andrew Cooling.
Send it right back to Richmond, who chips back into his defensive 50. They look to execute the switch here. The Tigers getting numbers across to this side of the ground, though, so it won't be too easy as Brewer breaks that one up. Fires the handball back to Knight and sold a little candy, then ran himself into trouble, and he's pinged for holding the ball. Bush takes the advantage, flicks it over the top to Baxter Norton. Norton looks up. It's a wide open forward 50, but it's an ugly looking kick. He couldn't quite find speed. They're able to clear it out of there. And taking the mark is Griggs. Half back, he looks up. Stagnates here. Looks to guide the kick, but he missed the target in Gordon. It could be danger again here because he coughed it right up to Paprotny, and peeling out the back was Green. Flying for it for Gadomski. He battles away, seeking the safety of the line here. Green applying pressure, and he finds the line. He was looking for it. He had Green breathing down his neck. He gets the stoppage.
That perceived pressure from the Roos as well that's just causing Kingborough to make basic skill errors in this contest, Andrew.
Yeah, they are feeling the heat, that's for sure. It's tossed back in. Tyler Carter having a run in the ruck, takes it. His tumbling kick goes towards Oscar Paprotny. Couldn't gather the football. Richmond firing away for it in there. Brzezinskak on hands and knees. Ball been given some time to come out by the umpire, but eventually he'll call for it.
So stoppage just forward of centre for Clarence, as we've seen so often in this term. It's Richmond, too big, too strong. Right to Clifford, though. But he's tackled immediately, so a repeat stoppage. And Kingborough suppress Clarence only for a few moments. Ball up just forward of the last one. Here's Harnwell. Only so far as Norton. Handball was just off target, and a really nice tackle applied by Gapin, but it was a little bit too high. So it wasn't a very nice tackle, Adam. And a free kick from Kingborough. An opportunity to head inside 50. Beautiful body work that resulted in a mark to Williamson. And again, Clarence suppress a Kingborough 4A forward with relative ease. Williamson looking for a target in Richmond, finds him, but he's fumbled it out of bounds. He'll get the opportunity to get his hands on it once again in a moment. Have a boundary throw in.
As we tip towards the 25-minute mark of the first term, Tigers still in search of their first. Clarence dominating this contest. Richmond and Brzezinskak. Richmond again just having his way with these ruck duels. Paprotny locking that one in. They'll go again. He's firmly on top at the moment. He's big Richmond. He'll go again here. Palm that one down, but palmed it straight down to Clifford, who wriggles free of trouble. Paprotny, though, emerges with the football. Send it wide to Turner, and Turner just guides one up towards Williamson at half forward. Looks up. Some numbers behind the football here for the Tigers, so gets his way through it. In the end, went looking for Harper, but kicked it straight out of bounds on the full. So Salter will take over.
You've been calling it for it, Andrew, the numbers behind the ball, and it's worked in this instance for Kingborough. Clarence have made a rare error.
It's a very rare error, and they can try and generate something back the other way. Clifford trying to run off Green here, and that's a good kick. It's starting to open up. Flanagan's in some space inside forward 50 here. He's got time to steady. Snapped it. It wasn't a great one. Took it and bounced up towards Johnston, and in the end they're going to be able to clear through Gapin, who finds Richmond in space, and they'll ping off half-back once again. Cooney, the target of this kick, just found him. Cooney now heads wide. Spider-Man in some space, who is further afield, spoiled away from Williamson there by Doyle. Gordon just gets the handball away in time to Brereton. Brereton found Dygan in a bit of room. Dygan, his kick shut down. Back to Brereton. Brereton, high ball inside the forward 50. Carter couldn't quite bring it down. Might get a free kick though. He will. So Tyler Carter can go back and just try and settle things down for his side.
Well, it started with the numbers behind the ball. It started with making it as difficult as possible for Clarence to get inside 50. They made a rare error. Kingborough were able to 4A forward. You can see the Clarence players just starting to get tired as we wind down to the break. Kingborough taking advantage with the potential for a red time goal.
In dire need of a major here. Tyler Carter, so often the man to deliver them for his side. Can he do the business? 20 out directly in front. He makes no mistake. He gets there first of the afternoon. And perhaps something to build on here for the Tigers. They've been blown out of the water in quarter number one, but maybe if they can just string a couple together late, might just give them something to cling to going into the second term.
Well, it gives Grant Fagan plenty to talk about with his team at quarter time. They've done almost everything right, but he can at least point to that passage of play as something they can do a little bit better, and how they can counter numbers behind the ball. You've got to think that Kingborough will look at that passage of play and continue to push numbers back as quickly as they can following these centre stoppages. We tick towards the 28-minute mark of this first term. 34-point lead for the Roos. Mapley taking on Ashland in the ruck. Mapley with a decisive tap in the direction of Gordon. Gordon finding Brower. Brower with a little scrubbing kick in the direction of Ogilvie. Ogilvie overruns it, but luckily Clifford is there to mop that up, as is Brower, who followed up his own work. It just landed inside, but helped over the line by Knighton. And we'll have a throw in here on the near side, just in front of our broadcast position.
One down. Clarence will take it away. High hands low, searching ball towards the half-forward line. And intercepting is Godomsky, who's been swung back into defence. They were leaking goals early. It's a more familiar position for him. Dygan sends it down the line. Gordon, spoiled by Hanslow, but still comes away with the football now. Just has to tread water for a moment before setting up towards half-forward. Williamson does really well to intercept.
Just a really strong contested mark by Ryan Williamson. He's been very, very solid in defence in this first term. He'll look to just kill the ball straight up the wing, but only so far as Gordon, who's had a bit of it the last minute or so. Draws a defender and finds Dygan, who goes inside 50, but it's only so far as Johnston. And again, Clarence with an opportunity to suppress the Tigers. Johnston goes high and long in the Richmond direction, who disrupts the pack. Goes through the hands of Doyle, and another stoppage. We have gone past the 30-minute mark in this term. And a throw in here on the near wing. So it's Mapley contesting this one with Bresniak. Works it down, but only so far as Harper. Here's Sylvester. Releases Cooney. Inside 50 is Cooney, but there's a 2-on-1. And there was an infringement there by Josh Green. But that'll be all she wrote for the first term. So a 34-point lead for Clarence heading into that first break. They were dominant through the first 25 minutes. Kingborough got one back late, but I think a lot of danger signs there, Andrew, for Kingborough.
Yeah, they were able to stem the bleeding a little bit, but just jumped 5 goals in the first 10 minutes, was it? They were absolutely leaking goals, and a pretty dominant start from Clarence. They'll be absolutely delighted with that first quarter. 34 points. As we mentioned, Kingborough started a little slowly last week before they came back into it in the second half. I think they'll find Clarence a much more difficult opponent to do that against this week, and they're going to need to really improve in the second quarter if they're going to make any sort of contest of this, because based on that first quarter, Clarence just looking far too strong.
Starts from the clearances. I mean, players like Jared Harper, Baxter Norton just getting first use, Oscar Paprotny. But that all starts from Ben Richmond as well. He's been dominant in the ruck and really got Clarence off to the best possible start. Yeah,
the ball really coming in with some speed to that forward line. The likes of Cooney and Green, Williamson just thriving. It's a pretty mobile forward line they've got alongside Mapley and Millwood down there as the keys. They've got those lively half forwards and small forwards. They're getting separation, but to be fair to the Kingborough defenders, they've been left absolutely isolated, and there hasn't been a heap they can do to stop a lot of it because it's just coming in so cleanly.
No, it's not really a defence problem, is it? It's through the middle of the ground. And also the forwards. I mean, it's been coming out of forward 50 far too easily. Kingborough have just let Clarence waltz out along the wing and get really easy entries inside 50. Their defenders have been caught on the hop because it shouldn't take, 10 seconds to go from end to end.
Yeah, speed of ball movement has been impressive. So we'll take a short break and be back with quarter number 2. We'll see if the Tigers can find a way to get themselves back into this one. A quarter time, Ninja Stadium. It's Clarence 7-1-43, leading Kingborough 139.
Now's Bush. Bush inside 50. A low ball in the green direction. Roving it, though, was Cooney, who kicks the first goal of the afternoon for the Roos.
This one's sharked by Gordon. He coughed it straight up to Norton. Norton lofts one in the green direction, and Green has his second mark inside 50. He missed his first shot. We'll see if he can improve here. He's slightly further out, so he wheels around to his right to buy some extra distance. Has it got the carry? It does. Josh Green nails that one, and the Roos have 2 early goals. It's a foul.
We reset play. It's Mapley in the ruck. Roving that, and an easy goal. Beautiful work to transition into their forward 50 and just lock it in for a while.
Clifford, a key mover. They need a spark from him. Can he get them going here? He looks to weave onto his right foot, drives it up towards the hot spot. Burgess, 1 juggle, 2 juggle, couldn't bring it in. Flanagan lays a tackle, spills out the way of Dygan, who couldn't quite direct his.
Now there's Williamson on the outer side. Clarence once again moving it very quickly over the wing. Here's Hanslow. And inside 50 they go. And, absolutely crunched. It'll be play on. It'll be Josh Green. And it'll be his second goal.
Now just sliced him to pieces through unwell, but work it wide. Nice work there from Mapley. Gets it to Green on the outer wing. Green with a lovely guiding kick to Hanslow in the corridor. Flicks the handball over the top to Cooney. He's kicked 1. He lets fly from 45. He's kicked 2. And the procession continues for the Roos. And as a result, they're being smashed around the ball, missing probably the best player in the competition, and it's been noticeable so far as Harnwell sends them forward. Can they get something from this? Again, the defence slammed it shut, but just coughing it up to Carter there. And now Flanagan with a chance, and it's a rash shot and it's offline, and they just needed to take that chance. There's an error there.
It's tracked down, though. Here's Hanslow. Off to Harper. And now in through Bush to the top of the square. And a beautiful mark. Quality shots on goal as Max Mapley comes in from about 25 metres out, directly in front, and makes no mistake. Clarence roll on.
He had some support there in the form of Harper, who bends it towards Mapley, took an unkind bounce. Norton, lovely stuff over the top to Harper. He's got a wide open target inside forward 50 again to extend the lead to 40 points. And he does just that. Clarence have their 7th, and as we just tick into red time in quarter number 1, by Doyle, Gordon just gets the handball away in time to Brereton. Brereton found Dygan in a bit of room. Dygan, his kick shut down. Back to Brereton. Brereton, high ball inside the forward 50. Carter couldn't quite bring it down. Might get a free kick though. He will. So Tyler Carter, dire need of a major here. Tyler Carter, so often the man to deliver them for his side. Can he do the business? 20 out directly in front. He makes no mistake. He gets there first of the afternoon. And perhaps something to
back to Ninja Stadium. This SFL Premier League contest where Clarence have been a dominant participant in leading this one by 34 points at quarter time. Goal kickers so far for Clarence. Let's get those for you. Adam Webster with you and Andrew Cooling alongside myself. I'll get you those stats, Andrew, but Clarence just absolutely dominant in this contest so far.
Yeah, it was an impressive opening act from them, that's for sure. They were quickly back out to their positions too, the Tigers players, using every second of the break, just getting back to their 6-6-6 formations now. They've used that break to have a good talk. We'll see if there's any tactical switches that come about. But as you mentioned, in that first quarter, it just starts in the middle. Need to start getting a bit more of the ball. That the contest has been made all the harder by the lack of Kieran Lovell. I think we figured out the other name missing. There were 2 late ins. We didn't get given the outs. But Riley Ashland, who would give them a target inside the forward line, which they have been lacking. So we're underway in the first term. Flanagan having a run in the ruck, but he's just bowled over by Richmond. Bush gets his hands to the ball. Clifford gathers and fires the handball out to Parker. Parker sends it in the Diagon direction. Spoiled away from him, though, by Johnston. Diagon battling away at ground level. Coming away with the football, Harnwell sets it up. Just caught behind was Carter. Gordon there in support, and the relieving mark taken by Williamson. He took a couple of nice marks in quarter number 1 and gets one here to start the second.
Played extremely well, did Williamson, and he finds McGann on the back flank. Chipping ball is a good one to Bush. It's what we saw Clarence do in the first term, just move the ball with relative ease and take these uncontested marks, give themselves plenty of time as they go up the wing to a 3-on-1 contest. Clarence able to still lock it in. Clifford did well to get it to the back of the pack. Getting in there as well is Briggs. He's tackled by Richmond, and there'll be a stoppage here on the centre wing. So Richmond up against Rezignac. Richmond wins it down once again. So far as Gordon, he's tackled though by Cotney. Umpire saw that as a draw. Get a further stoppage. A bit more slow going as we enter this second term. Good signs for Kingborough. Surrendered the first 7 goals of this contest and started very early on. It's Paprotny. Now to Norton. Norton with a left boot inside 50. Mapley was infringed upon. And a play on is taken. Here's Josh Green with a right boot, a little dribbler. And he kicks the goal. I thought it went off the post, but it actually went off the umpire entry.
Yeah, there's the value of keeping your feet in the contest right there. Godomsky went to ground. Josh Green stayed up, and he reaps the benefits. Kicks another one. They've switched that matchup during the first quarter after Green got the better of Clifford early on. And it doesn't seem to matter who's on Josh Green right now. He's running red hot. He has another one. Clarence pick up right where they left off.
Credit to Millward and Mapley for the contest that they provided right on the Telstra logo there inside 50. They were able to bring the ball to ground, and Clarence have just been red hot on ground balls in this contest in getting it forward as quickly as possible. And Josh Green, he only needs a one-on-one contest. He's going to win those more often than not. Richmond gets it straight back down to Harper. Inside 50 is Paprotny. And Clarence continue their dominance. Tackle is applied there by Parker. Now getting it on the wing and snapping towards goal. Missing. So Clarence back to what they were doing before, Andrew, and just peppering goal.
Yeah, Cooney almost with another one there. He's been a real live wire for them. Here's Clifford. Just hesitates with his kick and then sends it up towards the wing. They work it into the middle via Brereton. Good spoil from behind. Came from McGann, but it's going to come back into the Tyler Carr direction. Won't be able to quite reach him, though. Johnston defending the situation, and he locks it in there. Diagon on top of the football. So a stoppage inside forward 50. They'll get up and try and get some numbers around the ball here and get something going. Richmond just takes it out of the ruck, gets rid of Brzezinskiak. Here's Harper with a high up and under towards the wing. Away from Mapley. Coming away with it, Parker. Parker down Brewer. Shares it wide, and then they go back inside forward 50, but unable to find a marking target. Again, able to intercept. It was Baxter Norton, sorry. Who had a real impact in the first term, and he gets them moving quickly to Turner. Turner straight into the corridor because he saw Harper in acres of space just hit him up, and Harper now has room to wheel and go too. Pumps it in deep, looking for Green in the one-on-one. Spoiled away from him. Wouldn't sit for Mapley and trickles out of play.
So Clarence with another very quick transition from defensive 50 and deep inside. Another stoppage. Mapley will take the ruck. Another opportunity for this very dangerous Clarence forward line. So that's Mapley versus Brzezinskiak. Goes to the back of the pack in the green direction. Shuffles it out towards Norton. Norton with a left foot across the face of goal, and it will be a behind. So Clarence, again, a couple of scoring opportunities early, but unlike at the City end of the ground, they miss. Kingborough with an opportunity, kick it outside 50 in the direction of Griggs. Goes out of his hands, and we'll have a stoppage.
Had an opportunity to gather and advance it up the wing there, Griggs, but fumbled it, and it was a problem that really plagued them in quarter number one, their handling of the football. They've looked a bit nervy, they've fumbled it. Clarence have just been so much cleaner than them. Richmond continuing, he's got the size advantage, and boys, he using it in the ruck contest, but Protney fired it out, worked it inside 50 to Bush. Clifford has a hold of him and halts him at half forward. Richmond again winning it down, but a chance for the Tigers to come away. But in the end, Harnwell and Brewer fight for the same ball. Enables Clarence to send it in via Hanslow. Intercept mark taken back there. Nicely done by Jonty Code. Code heads wide looking for Salter, but they've coughed it up again. Banks just paddles into space. Norton spinning through traffic. That was classy. Banks was there. Speed. Retreating back to Norton, in a bit of trouble this time. Somehow manufactures a kick out of there, but he turns it over to Code.
So Kingborough using Godomski deep inside their defensive 50. And here's Code again. Just assessing his options. And a long left foot ball. Outside 50 to a 2-on-2 contest. Richmond forced it to the ground, but it was picked up by Brower. Now spilling out to the back of the pack ahead of Brzezinskiak. And now a high up and under kick right in the direction of Bush. Able to bring it down, though, was Clifford, who gets it in the direction of Dygan. Dygan kicks it inside 50 over the head of one teammate with a left foot snap. Runs for a goal. Tyler Carter, just with a left foot snap, dribbled on. There was no Clarence defender there, and away it went.
Tell you what, he's lucky that did go through the middle. He had Brewer on his own in the square. He had another man free in the pocket, and he just blazed over the shoulder. I don't think he would have been popular with the coach if he didn't, but splits the middle, so he'll get a reprieve. But there were men everywhere. They just got out the back for the first time all afternoon there, Kingborough. Suddenly had some runners getting off their Clarence markers, and it was a 3-on-1 inside 50. Carter took the shot on.
Easiest passage of play they've had all game, isn't it?
Yeah, hard running rewarded. Carter gets the goal. Mitchell Brewer just in the square watching it float through. It's probably on for the easy one over the top. It matters not. They get their second goal of the contest, the Tigers.
There's a reason Tyler Carter's top 5 in the goal kicking, Andrew, and that's by kicking goals like that and not giving them off.
Well, he does love a snag, that's for sure. Can they use it to be a springboard here? Here is Burgess trying to make something happen, but he ran straight into trouble and got caught holding the football. And then off the ball, they're just getting in a little scrap, and it's going to be paid a free kick instead for that to Baxter Norton. He's a lovely user of the football, so Clarence, quite happy for him to have it. Glover was presenting short, but he goes further afield. Spied Millward. And off hands, now to play for a ball in.
Just a couple of little positive signs for Kingborough, but we've seen this happen a couple of times in the contest, and Clarence have then moved it with pace end to end.
So Mapley, spectacular hit out straight down the throat of Norton, who goes inside forward 50. The flying shot on goal from Speed.
Touched.
It was just touched. He was wheeling off to celebrate. Well, the celebrations cut short.
He liked it, but unfortunately there was a mid on it. Code just completely overcooks that one. Straight to Williamson, who kicks directly to Josh Green once again. Josh Green is threatening to kick a bag from the opening minute of this contest. He's already got 2. Is it 2, Andrew? 2.
He's kicked one this quarter. He might have kicked 2 in the first, I think.
Goal kickers have not updated on the...
He's got 3.
He's got 3.
This will be his 4th.
You've called it already. That's commentator's curse if I've ever heard it. But that's not possible with Josh Green because he kicks truly 4 goals in the first half for Josh Green, 9 for Clarence. They're taking a 43-point lead.
Yeah, 2 in each quarter, and look, if you're going to make a mistake kicking off half-back, make it long, don't make it short. That was just a diabolical error, really. Just coughed it out. Gifts a goal. You can't turn the ball over there when everyone's starting to run out the other way. Just left Josh Green wide open inside forward 50, and he gladly accepts that one. And they've been their own worst enemy at times in this first half, the Tigers. Ball use has been a bit scrappy. 43 points now the margin. As we just kick past 10 minutes in the second term, it's Millward having a run in the ruck now. Tackle laid by Harper. Locks it in.
A couple of tall options for Clarence between Mapley, Millward, and obviously the fairly dominant Ben Richmond.
Yeah, rotating all 3 through the rucks here at the moment. Brzezinskak definitely outsized in there. He's battling hard, but just really being outbodied at times. Clifford now sends it up towards the half-forward line. It's some nice work again from Williamson. We're really impressed with his game in defence. Got a number of good intercepts already today, and now an opportunity to go forward via Glover. Spears one inside the corridor. Just pitched it a little short, but dancing through some traffic was Williamson. Sends it the green direction, caught behind Godomski. Off hands and out of play. So it'll be tossed in inside the forward 50.
The deep entry for Clarence. Josh Green looming large. Millward to contest the ruck contest, but Brzezinskak able to force over the line for a repeat stoppage. Here we go again. Green looming at the front of this pack. Instead it goes in the direction of McGuinness. The Tigers able to clear it outside 50. Gentle little shove in the back, but not so gentle by Roy Stevenson. So free kick to the Roos and an opportunity for them once again. This is heading in the green direction. Goes directly over his head, and the Tigers will be able to mop this one up. A searching kick to the outer wing. Really well done by Brower. Even better by Gapin, who applied the tackle and reaps the rewards. Max Gapin, a great rundown and an opportunity for him to drive it inside 50. And a nice contested mark, just laid it up beautifully. It's Millward with the shot on goal.
Just put it up there where only the tall man could get the mitts to it. It was a lovely kick and great service. That's the type of service you just love as a tall forward.
What about the chase, though? It was brilliant. So Millward lines up for Clarence's 10th goal, stabs at it, misses near side. And behind.
Just let them off the hook a couple of times this quarter. Clarence, 44 points. Could be even worse for the Tigers, really, as this one's kicked wide towards Burgess. Has some support coming there in the form of Harnwell. And he gets it and looks to play on here. Drives it down the line. Clarence well set up behind the football here, though. Giving a good contest, Brereton. Had 2 to beat, brought it to ground. Johnston is dumped there by Stevenson. They force a stoppage. Centre wing, so Millwood Back in the ruck here against Brzezinskak. Brzezinskak gets the better of him this time, then lost his footing, fired out a handball. Gathered there by Brewer, shared it with Gordon. Gordon now lofts one inside forward 50. Carter just caught behind, but Harnwell somehow comes away with the football, gets the handball away in time. Now an opportunity for Clifford. He lets fly from 45, but it's offline. Almost Will Clifford. Getting forward of the ball there, trying to impact things, but can't find the major his side were after.
Loving the work of Pat Harnwell, able to get in there and just make something out of nothing a couple of times in the last minute or so of action. As Clarence again play their very direct possession game on the outer wing. Opportunity here for Mapley. Spending a little bit of time behind the ball. He'll switch this kick here in the Bush direction. Bush has Banks very wide. He decides to go inboard with a lovely kick to McGann. And McGann is going wider again. Nice mark taken here by Glover. So Glover will miskick that one. Go directly through the hands of the Kingborough player and end up in the hands of Brower. Brower, right into the centre of the ground. This is much better. This is Gordon. He's been pretty good in this half. It was a scrubbing kick, though. Williamson will gather. He's done some really good things in this first half. In the Paprotny direction. Paprotny provides the contest, but the Tigers come away with it once again. And there's that man Williamson, Andrew. He's just in every single defensive contest, just offering a body and getting the ball to ground.
Yeah, he's doing well. Just reckon Brewer had a chance to share the football there with Code as they streamed through the middle. Instead, tried to go inside 50 where Clarence were well set up. To think their way through it a little more there. As Richmond just goes unopposed in the end, handed off to Harper. He's immediately besieged, flicks a handball out over the top, charging onto that one. Hanslow just worked up to Glover. Somehow got a handball back to Hanslow. They just keep the ball in motion. Now Sylvester bursts through a tackle, sends them inside 50. Green again lurking. It'll sit, will it sit for him? Not quite. Eventually able to gather, snaps it back centrally. A couple of numbers here for the Roos that evaded Sylvester, might find its way to him eventually, but Salter comes away with the football and somehow the Tigers survive. Looks like a certain goal coming up, but they're able to work it via Henry along the outer wing. Centering ball towards Clifford in a pocket of space. He's got Brewer working for him, shares it with him. Brewer looks up, sends it inside forward 50 and just put it right down the throat of Mapley, who dropped back into the space. And a promising moment comes to naught.
He's so valuable when you've got a young tall that can play at both ends like Mapley, taking intercept marks, contested marks inside 50 as Hanslow works in the direction of Harper. Harper, though, it's broken up. Is that man Harnwell again? Will it be play on advantage? No, it won't. It will come back here to Brower. So another opportunity for Kingborough to head inside 50 through Brower, and that just come off the line, so that hurts. It gives Clarence another opportunity to set up behind the ball, which they've done very well. Kick to the pocket is a really good, low, hard ball, and now an opportunity for Jet Knighton. Knighton just hits a little 45 number to our man Harnwell, who's again chipping across goal. And will we actually get a shot this time? Yes, we will, by Harrison Henry.
Yeah, they've done well there, the Tigers. Just kept improving the angle, improving the distance to goal. Some good ball use, some good hard leading from the forwards, and gives them a really good look at the big sticks here.
It's the first time they've had 2 or 3 uncontested marks in a row for this contest, and it's been a feature of Clarence's game, but Kingborough just haven't been able to get on the end. So Henry approaches. 35 out, slight angle, hangs it in the air, and misses to the right. One behind.
Unfortunately, they can't get reward for that play. And trailing by this much, you just need to take every chance you get, and unable to do so as Turner reloads from fullback. High, clear and kick out of the defence. Just swallowed up by big Richmond again. Continues to dominate in the air. We've got some numbers gathering on the outer wing here. Will it sit for Turner? It won't quite, under pressure from Clifford. Out of play.
I'd like to see some repeat entries here from Kingborough and some positivity to be able to force the stoppage out in the wing and get it back inside 50. Clarence defenders are probably not being made to work as hard as Kingborough would like them to.
Pitch is just ahead of Richmond. He's able to gather it and hand to Paprotny. Clifford spoiling from behind. Harper sliding in and completes the mark just inside the field of play. He advances it over the top. He spied Turner at half forward. Looks up. The Leeds present themselves. Glover couldn't complete the mark. Got separation, but then spilled the beans and out of play for a ball in.
Glover just one that hasn't necessarily been able to work his way into this contest just yet, despite the free-flowing scoring by the Roos. A couple of possessions the last few minutes, so we'll see if that changes. Richmond outpointed by Breziniak. Punch there in the Sylvester direction. Just spills it into the forward pocket. Scrubbing ball. Beautiful tackle applied, and once again another turnover. Kick from Gapin is right on the painted numbers there. And another opportunity, this time for Harper to kick Clarence's 10th goal. Feels like the 10th goal's been a long time coming, Andrew.
It has. They've let them off a couple of times, but it's another turnover trying to come out of defence. Good pressure from the Clarence forward group again, forcing the errant kick, but they're just making too many mistakes in this part of the ground.
So Harper, not an easy shot. 40 metres out, 45-degree angle. Approaches, just pushes it across the face. And behind. So lead is now 43.
They had kicked 7-1, so 2-5 since then. So just gone off a little bit with the goal kicking. Still a very commanding lead at 43 points here. They'll be forced to kick to a contest. Richmond there lurking. Burgess flying from behind. And Barnwell has been one of his side's best. He scored it across the line there. They're just trying hard to give them that marking target. They do look a bit undersized. He's fighting out of his weight division at times. But most likely target forward of centre for them and working up to give them an option there. Toss back in. Richmond. Zinskak. Richmond palming it down. Clifford sharks the tap. Gives it to Harnwell. Harnwell, the loose one inside. Flick back over the top to Gapin. Weaving one way, then the other. And then a really intelligent kick into the corridor to open things up. And now Paprotny. Paprotny. Deep ball over the top. Quite enough. Find his man out the back there in speed. And they clear out towards Brewer at halfback. Settle things down here for the Tigers. Drives it down the wing, but again, straight to big Richmond. And just says thank you very much and swallows it up. Heads into the middle of the ground. Fraser Turner. Spied Norton short, keeps it moving. Paprotny just getting forward of the ball here. Paprotny goes looking for Josh Green again. He'll keep his balance here. Will it sit for him? Not quite. He's so good at just keeping his feet in that situation, Josh Green. We've seen it a couple of times today. The ball wouldn't quite sit for him. It'll be a 450 stoppage.
I think every youth coach in Australia is looking at the way that Josh Green keeps his feet and telling his players that's exactly how you do it. Ruck contest there by Harper. 3 tacklers from Kingborough, so good defensive possession there, and we've got a repeat stoppage. Again, Harper. Brzezinskak goes to the outer side. Here's Turner and Hanslow. Trying to find a teammate and does. Little chipping ball inside 50. It's spoiled well out of the hands of Speed. And another inside 50 stoppage for the Roos, who lead this one by 43 points into red time in the second term. So Harper versus Brzezinskak. Brzezinskak gives it straight to Harper, who snaps, and it's across the face of goal. So we talk about the regression to the mean of the goal kicking, and it's certainly been the case after quarter time.
It was a little unsustainable early on, perhaps, but 44 points is their lead as this one's kicked up towards a contest. Harnwell and Glover. Now Banks emerges with the ball. Fired it inside to Norton, usually a good user. Showed some composure to get to Turner. Turner, his handball over the top, a bit indiscriminate. They should be able to clear the area here. They have, but straight to Oscar Paprotny. Paprotny looks up. It's a crowded forward 50 ahead of him. No immediate options. Turner giving an option, and then he just waited, and eventually the space opened up for Baxter Norton. And the distance will be no problem here. Baxter Norton, usually a lovely kick. We'll see if he can find what's been an elusive 10th goal for his side.
He said it as soon as Oscar Paprotny took that mark, there was far too much congestion inside 50. All the Clarence players just worked their way away from the ball. Norton was able to lead into that space, and it was just smart play by the forwards.
So Baxter Norton, kick from around about 45 out. Slight angle. He looks to work it back on the breeze, and he does it very nicely indeed. He's a lovely kick, Baxter Norton, and he sends that one through for their 10th. And it's a 50-point lead for the Roos as we tick towards half-time here at Ninja Stadium.
We've seen at least 3 or 4 behinds to this near side, this right-hand side, and Baxter Norton obviously saw that. He started it out towards the left behind post, really, and then worked it back across. It was a very well-weighted kick and a smart one by Baxter Norton. Great, classy finish. So an even 50 points as we tick down towards half-time here at Ninja Stadium. SFL Premier League. Be Richmond and Bresenskak to contest the ruck. Richmond tapping it down the Paprotny direction. Here's Harper. Harper just to the edge of the square, inside 50, deep entry, but it's killed effectively by Griggs. It's gone out of bounds for a throw-in.
They need to find a way to slow down Oscar Paprotny. He's really dominating this second quarter right now.
So Millwall contest the ruck. It's Millwood just tapping it down, but only so far as Godomski. Kicking it across 50 to the outer side. Controlling it is Parker. Tackle applied. And there's holding the ball. Good tackle applied here by Sylvester. Sylvester with the opportunity to head back inside 50 for Clarence. And the umpires just bring him around to the appropriate angle. So more time for Kingborough to set up behind the ball. Sylvester works it inside 50. Too strong for Millwood. Too many people in that contest. A bit of an up and under kick there. It falls into the hands of Carter. Opportunity for Clifford. And now to the outer side, Kingborough desperately trying to clear it through Ogilvie, but only so far as McGann.
So McGann will pump them inside 50 once again. High ball. Green stayed down. Comes away with the football. Snaps it over his shoulder. Numbers gathering here. McGuinness, his handball was sharp. Good pressure from Speed. Godomski puts the handball across. Clifford just gets his kick away in time under pressure from Speed, who went a little late in the umpire's estimation in the back, and that'll be a free kick. Speed by name and by nature, he's buzzing about that forward line, applying pressure. Repeat efforts there, making life very difficult for the Tigers, trying to exit T50. So Clifford, long clear and kick, but again Richmond, just imperious stuff, rises high and plucks another mark.
Been so physically dominant in this first half.
And the siren will beat them out. They were lining up inside forward 50 there. And the Tigers probably baying for the siren there. They had a brief period in the second term where they started to get a few forays forward, but the last 10, 15 minutes, the ball lived down this end of the park, as it has for much of the first half. And Clarence at the major break, 50 points ahead, 10-7-67, leading Kingborough 2-5-17. And troublingly for the Tigers, it probably should be even more than that, Adam Webster.
Yeah, Clarence did waste a few opportunities, and I think, the city end is probably the scoring end. It's a little bit less windy down this end, although we've seen down in the water end the ball just fade onto the right-hand side of goal. So it reflected in the misses that Clarence had that quarter. Baxter Norton, with the exception to the rule, he was able to use that breeze to his advantage. But, the Roos have just been utterly dominant inside the clenches. They've been able to get clean use of the ball, uncontested marks, and then high-quality shots inside 50. It's a thoroughly deserved 50-point margin, but you're right, it could be a lot worse than that if they'd kick straight in that second term.
Yeah, pretty dominant stuff. Josh Green adding another 2 goals. He's got 4. He's been an absolute star inside forward 50. Winners really across the ground. I thought Paprotny was outstanding that quarter, really got involved. And as we've said numerous times, Richmond just having his way in the ruck contest. Ryan Williamson, I've loved his work behind the ball, but just winners across the ground as far as you look. Jared Harper was pretty dominant inside too. Baxter Norton's been his usual classy self. Just not too many really you could point out in Kingborough and say that they're having much impact on this game. I think Pat Harnwell has battled hard for them. Burgess has given them a bit in the contest, but they've just been battered all around the ground for mine.
Yeah, there's not too many positives to take out of the half for the Tigers. I mean, I guess the only thing that we can say is that they had a similar poor half last week. So if they're able to come back and come out of half-time with a renewed vigour, then they could make a gain out of this. But at this stage, it's hard to see them coming back and making this much of a contest at all.
Yeah, pretty dominant stuff. We'll take a breather here at Ninja Stadium and be back shortly with the second half. It's Clarence by 50 points, firmly in command here at Bellerive Oval.
Wherever cancer is, we are. We are the supporters, preventers, researchers and advocates, leading Australia to a future without cancer. Every day, we're finding new and better ways to offer services, share knowledge, and bring hope to Australians everywhere, because cancer affects us all. We're here to listen and care for people, however they need us, whenever they need us, through any type of cancer at any stage of the journey. Every day, we are supporting world-class researchers, empowering them to dream big and make the impossible possible. Together, we're pushing boundaries, unlocking the answers to understand, prevent and treat cancer. We're improving the lives of those living with it and even getting close to eliminating some cancers altogether. You may not see us, but we're here, in schools and people's homes, on the beach, at work and on the streets, helping millions of Australians cut their risk and detect cancer sooner. We know that 1 in 3 cancers can be avoided, so we're out there preventing as many as we can. You may not hear us, but our voice is loud. Every day, we're using it to advocate, change laws and drive policies, to reduce cancer risks and improve cancer care, to break ground and speak for the community in places where they're not always heard. Every day, we're closer to a future without cancer. And as a charity, we rely on Australia's biggest hearts to help us get there faster.
Blunston's been building hard-working boots for over 150 years. The tougher you need them, the tougher we build them, giving you advanced protection and all-day comfort. After all, you never stand still, so neither do we. Blunston, building the future.
Oh, you mean the jam and cream? Good stuff.
And one for you as well. Got it.
Original glazed. Classic.
At Banjo's, we speak donuts. Introducing our new range of flavours. Now there's one for everyone. Banjo's, making donuts better.
Left boot inside 50. Mapley was infringed upon. And a play on is taken. Here's Josh Green with a right boot, a little dribbler. And now a high up and under kick right in the direction of Bush. Able to bring it down, though, was Clifford, who gets it in the direction of Dygan. Dygan kicks it inside 50, over the head of one teammate, with a left foot snap. Runs for a goal.
Celebrations cut short.
He liked it, but unfortunately there was a mid on it. Code just completely overcooks that one. Straight to Williamson, who kicks directly to Josh Green once again. You've called it already. That's commentator's curse if I've ever heard it. But that's not possible with Josh Green, because he kicks truly 4 goals in the first half for Josh Green. Max Gapin, a great rundown and an opportunity for him to drive it inside 50.
Brzezinski gets the better of him this time, then lost his footing, fired out a handball. Gathered there by Brewer, shared it with Gordon. Gordon now lofts one inside forward 50. Carter just caught behind, but Harnwell somehow comes away with the football, gets the handball away in time. Now an opportunity for Clifford. He lets fly from 45, but it's offline. Almost. Shares it with him. Brewer looks up, sends it inside forward 50, and just put it right down the throat.
That hurts. It gives Clarence another opportunity to set up behind the ball, which they've done very well. Kick to the pocket is a really good, and now an opportunity for Jet Knighton. Knighton just hits a little 45 number, who's again chipping across goal. Get on the end. So Henry approaches. 35 out. Slight angle. Hangs it in the air and misses to the right. One behind. Beautiful tackle applied, and once again another turnover. Kick from Gapin is right on the... So Harper versus Brzezinski. Brzezinski gives it straight to Harper, who snaps, and it's across the face of goal. So We talk about the regression to the mean.
Itself a bit indiscriminate. They should be able to clear the area here. They have, but straight to Oscar Paprotny. Paprotny looks at the options. Turner giving an option, and then he just waited and waited, and eventually the space opened up for Baxter Norton. Kick from around about 45 out. Slight angle. He looks to work it back on the breeze, and he does it very nicely indeed. He's a lot. So Clifford. Long clearing kick, but again, Richmond. Just imperious stuff. So, welcome back to Ninja Stadium for the second half of this Round 8 clash in the Southern Premier League between Clarence and Kingborough. It was the home side, the Roos, who made all the running in the first half. A 50-point lead they took into the major change. They have dominated this contest. The Tigers spent a long time in the rooms. Clarence side were out there far earlier than them. Wonder if they've been able to come up with a plan of attack to work themselves back into this contest in the second half. Or will we see more of the same? It's been one-sided traffic so far. We'll see if the script can be flipped in the second half. Kingborough were much better last week in the second half after a slow start, but Clarence a tougher opposition to try and turn it around against. Adam Webster will take us away with the second half.
All set to go. Richmond versus Brzezinskak. His third term. It's Richmond in the direction of Gapin. And now a clearance by Clarence straight away in the direction of Glover. Glover tackled immediately very well by Brereton. Brereton with great follow-up work. Glover and Brereton doing a bit of fighting, and it will be a stoppage on the outer wing. Big Richmond once again dominant. Punches it straight inside 50, but only so far as the Tiger defender. Now at the wing, it's Harnwell with a punch. But now Clarence with the opportunity to foray forward through Bush. Bush deep inside 50, but chopped off very nicely. It was Doyle. Now into the centre of the ground, just over the head of Harper. It's Clifford tracking down the ball in the Harnwell direction. Now Clifford once again. Pushed off, it was Dygan. And we'll have the ball tied up just outside 50 for the Tigers.
So a stoppage at half-4. Can the Tigers get something going and spark a second half recovery here? Richmond unopposed in the end. He was up against Clifford in the ruck contest. Brzezinskak not quite able to get there. Truly the size advantage in that one in Richmond. They were able to force another stoppage in the pain of 50. Still Brzezinskak able to get there. Richmond wins it down though. Gordon immediately wrapped up by Gapin. Unable to escape. Takes him across the line. Sun still shining down. A lovely day for football here at Bellerive. Conditions. Clarence absolutely thriving so far. Richmond just plucks it out of the contest. Norton flicks their handball over the top. Gapin just chips one, finesse it over the top to Cooney. He's got Paprotny in space wide, and that's where he heads. Paprotny has Harper on over the top. He'll go slightly further afield. It's a ball, well, I thought it was initially for Glover, but in the end found its way out the back for Millward. Millward uses Paprotny storming through. His handball just a bit too much on it for Cooney. Lets in Clifford. Clifford to Brzezinskak. Back into dispute. Glover dives on. Got some high contact. Got legged in the end. The goal. Yeah, contact below the knees. Some confusion here. Glover thought he got the high contact free kick, but the call was for contact below the knees. Tigers ball, and Clifford will take over.
So Clifford here on the near wing. Norton guarding the mark. Goes inboard into the centre of the ground. Leaking out his Brower. Overruns it slightly. Here's Norton. Squirting it out to the back of the pack. Big Richmond lays the boot in. Right to the paint of 50 in a strong contested mark. Taken by Millward. Millward sets in the green direction. One bounce over the head of Josh Green, and a stoppage deep inside 50 for the Roos.
Josh Green just burst out the back there. He was all on his own for about 20 seconds. Millward just couldn't quite pick him out. He just ran forward to the ball there. No defender near him.
Opportunity for Hart for Millwood in the ruck. However, taken out by the Kingborough defender. Green overruns it, underruns it. Gets it out to Gapin. Now tackled was Cooney. Another stoppage inside 50 for Clarence. Millwood and Brezensack to contest, only so far as Norton pops it up to the top of the square. Through the hands and into Harper. Harper around the corner. Too far around the corner and misses. One behind.
Beautiful piece of roving there from Harper off the front of the pack. Took it cleanly up boot to ball. Just couldn't quite direct his effort. Gordon presents short. Gets the ball. Keeps it moving quickly to Clifford. Numbers going on the wing here. Searching for a loose option. Wants to find an uncontested mark. In the end, Godomski gives him a shepherd. Fires a handball, which invited in Johnston. Put Dygan under all sorts of pressure. Clifford follows up. Brzezinskiak back to Clifford. Flicked it over the top. Parker now tumbles a kick forward, but again intercepting is Richmond. Quickly gave it to Cooney. Cooney over the top to Turner. Returns it to Cooney. Cooney now just stands it up inside 50 in the direction of Speed. Keeps it out in front of him under a little bit of pressure here from Griggs. And find the safety of the line. Again, it was Richmond intercepting. Parking himself behind the contest and breaking the play up. He's done it time and time again today. Tossed back inside forward 50. Millwood and Brzezinskiak. Neither ruckman able to get to it. Speed. Handball back to Paprotny. Paprotny looking for Green, just running underneath it. Out of play for a ball in.
So Clarence able to lock it inside 50. Haven't scored yet. Only 7 minutes gone in this third term. Clock at the ground didn't reset. It says 27 minutes gone, but it's wrong. And tapping it out of bounds is Millwood. We'll have a repeat stoppage.
Yeah, now, the whole screen's gone.
Well, we know it's 50 points, Andrew, so that's a start at least. Bit of the IT crowd action if you try turning it off and on again. Bursting through is Speed. He's dispossessed. Kingborough with an opportunity through Harnwell. And now they clear in the direction of Parker. Over his head. Trying to gather and does really well, does Parker. Shares it with Dygan. Dygan, though, only so far as the men in red and white, as Mapley back there helps mop up, as does Norton. Good tackle applied to release Clifford. Now Harnwell back off to Clifford, to the pocket. Taps in the direction of Dygan. Over the top for Brower. Brower dancing and onto the left foot. Top of the square and just misses to the far side.
They made a bit of a meal of that. The Tigers, they had numbers inside forward 50. Tyler tried to make it work, but just before that, headed wide when they had a couple of options centrally. Kicks up towards a contest here. Richmond there, but coming away with the football. Doyle lofting it inside the forward 50. Carter in a wrestling match. Slapped away from him. Brewer works it over the top. Surely a goal coming up here. Running into an open goal is Stevenson. And he drives through the first of quarter number 3. And the Tigers cut the margin back to 44 points.
First score of the half, Andrew, by Kingborough, despite repeat entries and a lot of pressure applied by the Roos. Be interesting to see if the Roos have let the pedal off just a little bit heading into this second half. They had a really significant killer instinct in the first half, particularly the first 10 minutes of the game, piling on 7 goals in that first term, and Kingborough firing back as we begin the second half. Not that we'd see that in the arena because the scoreboard is still off.
Yeah, fortunately we got the scoreboard on the stream still working for the viewers at home.
That's right.
We're flying blind here, but yeah, that's been the only score of the half, so not too hard to keep track of.
It's okay. We'll get going in the middle again with Richmond and Brezensack. Kingborough with a rare clearance. This is Henry on the outer wing. Calling for it around the back is Clifford, who gave it to him. Clifford runs into trouble. A massive don't argue. Cooney follows up really nicely with a tackle. Back to Clifford. Clifford driving it inside 50, and there'll be a free kick. It will go the way of Clarence. It will go the way of Joseph McGann. And McGann will use Hanslow in the back pocket. Hanslow spots Banks, calling for it over the back in the Millwood direction. Millwood manages to get clean possession. Same can't be said for Norton, but he recovered really nicely. Paprotny uses Sylvester. Back to Paprotny. Now inboard. Cooney will go inside 50. Cooney in the green direction. Can't quite get that mark. Ball's recovered nicely. And now Kingborough with an opportunity through Henry. Back to Stevenson. And now Henry again. Uses Harnwell. And Harnwell will hit up a target on half forward. They'll go quickly through Dygan. Dygan inside 50 with a little 15-metre ball to Knighton. Knighton crosses over. And a shot on goal will be had and won. So Kingborough with 2 goals in this second half. A really strong start for the Tigers, who trail by 50. Margin is now back to 38.
And Joey Brewer applying the finish there. That was probably the best passage of play of the day, I reckon, there. Kingborough moved the ball nicely.
Yep.
Just worked it round and ran hard forward of the football to give options. And they've started this third term in a pretty good manner. Kicked the only 2 goals of the quarter. 10 minutes in. Cut the margin back to 38. So we mentioned that last week they were much better after half-time, and following a similar script here, albeit coming from much further behind this week. Against a pretty tough calibre of opposition, but starting to win a bit more of the ball around the ground here. There's a free kick blown in the ruck contest here. It's going to be a free kick to Richmond for a hold. Immediately dished it to Norton. Norton looks to spread it wide, and Tyson Hanslow stops props, heads in the Glover direction. Working ahead of Brereton. Glover drives a central ball inside, almost taking the mark. Millwood just spoiled away from him. Salter clears the area up towards Dygan. Shrugs free of Harper. Dygan now. Clever kick over the top, working back Banks, but keeping his composure. Stevenson, one-on-one here in forward 50. Carter with strength, kept his feet, bobs up, and just squeezed it in. And it's 3 in a row for the Tigers. Some life here in the visitors. Tyler Carter just snuck that one in. And they're back within 32 points. They've kicked the only 3 goals of the term. Is there a little bit of life in this contest yet?
Here they come, Andrew Cooling. 3 goals in a row. We didn't predict that heading into half-time with how they played in the first half. And have to be a little bit frustrating for the Kingborough coaching staff to see this sort of change in form. They'd be looking at themselves saying, where was this? Where was this ball movement off the back line, straight to the forward line, creating opportunities? They've done exactly what Clarence did to them in the first term. We'll get going again. Opportunity for Richmond once again. Brezenskak does a really good job of following up. Spills to the back of the pack to Brower. Brower will switch. Nice kick in the direction of Clifford. Clifford will go to half forward. Good job there by Lockie Clifford. But a poor kick results in a turnover straight away, and Norton will come away with it for the Roos. Norton with a chipping ball to Banks. And Banks will look to the outer wing. So fumbling over the line is the big ruckman Richmond. So there'll be a stoppage just outside 50 for the Tigers, who have kicked the last 3 of this contest. Cut what was a 50-point margin at half-time to just 32. So Brezenskak just gets collared by Richmond and will earn himself a free kick. Skak now with a kick deep inside 50 for the Tigers. Spills in the direction of Harper. And Harper with a well-weighted kick. It falls to Hanslow.
Tyson Hanslow looks to switch it across the face of goals here as they execute it across towards Williamson. Now Norton under some duress here, Norton, and just has it held in. They force a stoppage. Suddenly just a bit of life in the Tigers, buzzing about with some newfound energy there. Seem to be running a lot harder. Might have got the rocket up them at half-time from the coach, I reckon. A lot more intent at the contest, especially in that chance to get it here through Gordon. He just runs out of real estate. Certainly doing better in the contest, winning the football, and it's flowing from there. Running hard to provide options, and 3 goals to none so far this quarter as a result. Still a long way back for them, though. Skak paddling down. Norton swoops on the football. Harnwell immediately wraps him up. One of his side's best performers is Harnwell today. He's done some nice things out there. Richmond won it down. Straight to Harnwell. Gets a kick out of the congestion up towards half forward. A tackle from Banks. Norton, he's brought down. Stevenson, they head wide for Harper. Some room to manoeuvre here. He heads into the corridor looking for Hanslow, but the numbers favour the Tigers. And they turn the ball over here. Kick is a good one across the face. Found its way to Code. Code now will head wide. Turning away with the football is Ogilvy. Guides it in. Carter just caught behind the football there, though. Easy intercept for Mapley. Heads into the corridor. Good ball to Hanslow. Hanslow looks up. Josh Green's charged forward to the ball out the back here if they can, but they can't get it past the wall of Tigers set up at midfield. Oh, made a bit of a mess of it, though. Oh, crunch there. McGuinness absolutely collecting Ogilvy. Ball spills the way of Brewer. Brewer now uses Harnwell. Harnwell returns it to Brewer. Brewer just pumps it deep inside 50. Knighton juggles the mark. He got Burgess over the top if he wants to go there. Instead decides to settle it down and take the set shot.
That was an incredible tackle there by Ben McGuinness. I felt that up here. And poor Harrison Henry has just gone straight to the bench and he's under some duress.
So Knighton, can he make it? 4 in a row here for the Tigers from the angle. The angle proved too much. Hung it near side, never gave it a chance. It was a bone rattler, that one, wasn't it?
Tell you what, I don't want to be caught on the other end of a Ben McGuinness tackle, that's for sure. Clarence working it out through Johnston. And not able to string together the same number of uncontested marks here, the Roos. Putting them under a bit more duress from the Tigers. Very strong tackle applied. Too strong, in fact. So there'll be a free kick to the Roos. And they'll look to work it toward this side of the ground through Williamson, who was infringed. And there'll be a free kick. Kingborough faithful not a fan of that call from the umpire. We've got a contingent of Kingborough fans below us.
Carter did pretty well to avoid giving it away,
I think
to
so.
be honest.
Umpire saw it a little bit differently. So now McGann in the Paprotny direction. But it's cut off. And Kingborough with another foray forward. A 2-on-1 contest provided by Williamson. Gets it over to Parker. Parker goes goalward. Bounces very high and almost gets over the line, but not quite. It's helped over the line by the Roos, and Kingborough close to 30 points now.
Could so easily have gone through, and that's an ugly kick. It'll just pitch inside. Was looking for Gapin. Suddenly a few errors just creeping into the Clarence game. A bit of pressure being applied, and suddenly that free-flowing football of the first half has completely vanished. They've got a handy lead, but just looking a little rattled the last few minutes, Clarence. They could do with a steadier. The Tigers with all the momentum, and Brewer escapes away here. Just got his kick away. That's a good mark by Harper in defence. So Johnston on short. Opts not to take that. You go further to a contest. Hands low and Richmond flying in Ogilvy. Richmond just forced it out. Clifford applying some pressure. He's really lifted this quarter, Clifford, but he's done well to get a handball out of traffic there. Johnston tries to spin out of trouble. He's going nowhere. And the Tigers lock it in, and they're doing a really good job locking the ball in their half of the ground at the moment.
Yeah, they're doing a magnificent job compared to what they were able to accomplish in the first half. Richmond once again with the ruck contest. Really well contested there by Carter. There's been a free kick plucked here. It will be play on, and Clarence will move it freely on the outer side of the ground. It will go over the head of Banks. And now in the direction of Williamson. And there'll be a stoppage right on centre wing on the outer side. In front of the hill here at Ninja Stadium. It's a 30-point margin midway through this third term. Richmond with a double-hander in the direction of Williamson. But the Tigers mop up. Here's Dygan. And now Parker applying the tackle. And spotting up. There it was Speed. Just kicking it straight down the throat. And a really good opportunity here for Clarence to kick that steadier that you talked about, Andrew Cooling. This kick will be from outside 50. It'll be McGuinness. Just inside 50. He's kicked it across the face, and it'll be helped along the line by the Kingborough Tigers, and back to a 31-point lead.
Still a commanding lead, but they would have liked that one just to settle things down. The Tigers, for the first time today, with a spring in their step. Here's Harnwell. Thumps it long. Get out the back here to Stevenson, not quite. Good tackle late on Johnston. The intent has been much improved. The Tigers. Richmond does well in the ruck contest there, unable to gather though. Banks inside 50, cleared away by Glover. Parker just attacking the football and winning it, and then sends it inside forward 50. Can it find a marking target? He does. Knighton does well. Reels it in under pressure from Harper. And an easier set shot than the one he missed a few moments ago here for Jed Knighton. Chance to cut the margin back to 25.
That was great work by Julian Parker. Just felt that his defender was flat-footed, attacked the ball, got it straight away, quick decision, and set up Knighton really well.
So Knighton, their fourth of the quarter. It looks good off the boot. They're right back in this one, the Tigers. They've roared back to life. They've kicked 4 goals to none in the third term. We've ticked past 22 minutes, but the margin back to 25 points. It's been a stunning turnaround, really, after what we saw in the first half. And suddenly, a little bit of belief pulsating through the Tigers playing group.
Well, it's come out of nowhere, hasn't it? And, you know, a very similar story to last week as we keep referring to. But Kingborough have come out a completely different side after halftime. They didn't even warm up. They were, you know, being probably given so much feedback at halftime, but they've come out, they've applied whatever feedback needed to be applied. They've been harder at the ball, and they've made life extremely difficult for Clarence when they've had any forays forward. And we can see Josh Green in front of us on the bench getting some instructions. Interesting to see how Clarence set up forward of the ball once he gets back on, as Brower sends them back inside 50 once again. Ball spills to the back of the pack. It will go across the face of goal, and we'll have a stoppage deep inside forward 50 for the Tigers, who now trail by just 25. Brilliant opportunity for them to potentially close to under 20. So Richmond will contest with Carter. Richmond gets the tap down. In there and hacking it out is Burgess, the other side of the goalpost. Now it will get out through Gapin. A 2-on-1 contest. Ball spills to the back of the pack. Really good work, and legged in there was the Clarence defender. Effectively won that 2-on-1 contest. It was Johnston. And now Clarence with an opportunity just to slow things down a little bit through Hanslow. Hanslow goes further afield, and we'll get a stoppage just beyond centre wing on the Clarence side of the ground as the ball goes through the hands of Millwood. So Clarence with a strong opportunity to move the ball forward. Richmond fighting for the ruck tap. The ball spills to no one in particular, and Harnwell's there to mop it up. Kingborough with another opportunity, but another stoppage and some strong defensive work by Banks.
Well, to shut that one down. We've travelled past 25 minutes here in the third term. If Tigers could grab another late one and make it 5-0 for the quarter, make things very interesting heading into the final quarter here. They're still firmly with the advantage, but getting a lot tighter as Harnwell just pumps them inside forward 50 again. There's another mark. He's hitting Knighton again. He's plucked another one. Flanagan, in fact, an opportunity here. He's going to go back and take the shot on.
I never like it when the instinct is to pass and it's the teammates that say that you need to shoot on goal, because it shows probably just a little bit of a lack of confidence. But let's see if Flanagan can go back and dob this one from just outside 50. This would be huge.
I think it might be Ogilvie who sends it on its way. Always near side there from Elliot Ogilvie. Couldn't quite convert it behind. Cut the margin further. Knocking on the door. They've dominated time in forward half this term. Back to 24 points. This is Richmond backing back with the flight to take another strong mark. Gave it off to Gapin. Gapin with a poor kick. Brereton's been good down there today for the Tigers. Wins the ball. That kick not quite so good though. Clean bowls everyone. Spills out the back. Norton springs to the football. Dealt with by Carter after he got rid of it. Now Harper goes looking for Williamson. Just had to sit underneath the ball. That invited in Parker. Parker works it back again to Brereton. They string some handballs together here and eventually tumble a kick up towards Carter. Carter just flicked the handball over the top. Still going Tyler Carter. In the end, toted off the deck and it bounces off McGuinness and out of play.
So Kingborough have been able to suppress Clarence at every turn in this term. If they continue along this trend, then we could have a grandstand finish on our hands. It's Carter and Richmond contesting this stoppage. Richmond once again with another advantage, and straight away we'll get a repeat stoppage as the tackle's applied. Richmond again. Taps it directly down, but only so far as Clifford. And he is tackled. So both teams just quite content to lock it in. Potentially wind down the clock to the end of the third term. This time it's Carter. Tap over the back. And a huge kick in the Glover direction. Controlled by Brereton. Now back in the direction of Code. Kingborough sharing it around, this time through Griggs. A high up and under. Deft touch by Code in the direction of Burgess. Getting it inside 50 to a 2-on-1. No one stayed down though. It's Richmond handballing it to the outside. Another high up and under. Glover versus Brereton. And Brereton infringed. Glover will get the free kick.
Probably didn't need to do that, Brereton.
No, just had to hold his ground.
Just reprieve, and Glover just signals to settle things down a bit. And he'll kick now to a contest. Let the big men get to work. Millwood was there, so too Richmond. Plenty of numbers At the fall of the ball for the Tigers, though, Brzezinskiak thought about the give, maybe should have given it because it allowed him Paprotny, stripped him of the football. One-on-one, Godomski and Green inside 50, spills out the back. Will Green track it down in time? He does, and he kicks a fifth. And it's a steadier for the Roos in the shadows of three-quarter time. A costly mistake there from Brzezinskiak. He had the handball option, decided against it. Paprotny stripped him of it. And when it gets out the back in a one-on-one to Josh Green, there's generally only going to be one result.
You just get the sense that has undone all of the good work that Kingborough did over the last 20 minutes of this quarter in bringing it back down to a 24-point margin. Back out to 5 goals. Kingborough essentially going to have to double their score in the last term to win this game.
Yeah, it's really, really costly for them. They're doing all the attacking the last 5 minutes. Couldn't quite find another one to cut it back to 3 goals. And Clarence go forward really for the first time in a while. And it was a bit of Josh Green's paddock, really. Only him and Godomski back there.
We'll get going again. Richmond with another tap. Tackle applied strongly by Brzezinskiak. Repeat stoppage in the middle. As we wind down towards three-quarter time. Richmond in the Harper direction. Overshoots him. Paprotny can't control it. Strong work here from Parker. Straight through the middle. Through the hands of Knighton. Clarence opportunity to mop up. Tackle applied. It will now be a shot from Carter. Right on the siren. And Kingborough are back to a 24-point margin.
He's got that kick away, I reckon, about 0.2 seconds before the siren sounded.
That is unbelievable.
I think it was Brewer who got the goal in the end. It was just in the nick of time. And
that was a flash.
Cancels out the goal of Green and keeps them back within 24 points. And look, a good quarter. 5 goals, 2 to 1 goal, 2. Back within 24 points. If they do that again, they won the quarter by 26 points. If they can repeat that, they'll win the game. As unlikely as it seems, they've left themselves no margin for error. But look, they're in the contest heading into the final term. It's been a wonderful response for them. After that first half, it just felt like the game was going to drift towards a pretty inevitable conclusion. Clarence looked far too strong. A great quarter of football from the Tigers. And that's a huge team lifter right on the siren. A buzzer beater.
That's a momentum-shifting goal if I've ever seen one. I mean, Kingborough had all the play in that term. The red time goal we thought was going to be a bit of a killer for them, but they were able to respond so rapidly. And for Kingborough, they've got a golden opportunity heading to this last term to capitalise on all of that momentum and come away with 4 points that seemed virtually impossible at half-time.
Yeah, very much so. It's been just a complete 180 of what we saw in the first half. Clarence, who looked so clean, so in control, suddenly they looked panicked. They were making poor basic errors. The pressure was being applied really well by the Tigers. They were forcing the errors. They were flying about. They had an intent and a ferocity at the contest they lacked in the first half. They started winning the ball around the middle a lot more. They locked down on the engine room of Clarence. They've been so dominant. I thought Lachie Clifford really rose to the occasion. And look, they've given themselves a sniff. They've got no margin for error heading into this final term, but it is game on.
Bailey Gordon really impressive for me. Pat Harmwell as well in everything. There's a couple of guys that have just lifted across the game and carried them to be able to be back within striking distance heading into this last term. It's promising to be a really exciting finish here at Ninja Stadium.
Certainly is. If the Tigers kick the first one of the final term, there might just be a few nerves going through the Clarence playing group. We'll be back shortly with that for you. We've got ourselves a game at Ninja Stadium at three-quarter time. It's Clarence 11-9-75, leading Kingborough 7-9-51.
As does Norton. Good tackle applied to release Clifford. Now Harnwell back off to Clifford to the pocket. Taps in the direction of Dygan. Over the top for Brower. Brower dancing and onto the left foot. Top of the square and just misses.
They tried to make it work, but just before that, headed wide when they had a couple of options centrally. Kicks up towards a contest here. Richmond there, but coming away with the football. Doyle lofting it inside the 450. Carter in a wrestling match. Slapped away from him. Brewer works it over the top. Surely a goal coming up here. Running into an open goal is Stevenson. And he dropped.
Ball's recovered nicely. And now Kingborough with an opportunity through Henry. Back to Stevenson. And now Henry again. Uses Harnwell. And Harnwell will hit up a target on half forward. They'll go quickly through Dygan. Dygan inside 50 with a little 15-metre ball to Knighton. Knighton crosses over. And a shot on goal will be had and won. So Kingborough with 2 goals in this second half. A really
over the top, working back Banks, but keeping his composure. Stevenson, one-on-one here in 450. Carter with strength, kept his feet, bobs up, and just squeezed it in. And it's 3 in a row for the Tigers. Some life here in the visitors. Uses Harnwell. Harnwell returns it to Brewer. Brewer just pumps it deep inside 50. Knighton juggles the mark. He got Burgess over the top.
And he's under some duress.
So Knighton, can he make it? 4 in a row here for the Tigers from the angle. The angle proved too much. Hung it near side, never gave it a chance.
A 2-on-1 contest provided by Williamson. Gets it over to Parker. Parker goes goalward.
So back and ready to go here for the final quarter at Ninja Stadium. The Clarence players are ready. The umpires are ready. The Tigers still in their huddle.
We saw this at halftime. The Tigers didn't even warm up after the halftime break, but it paid immediate dividends for them because they're only down by 24 points as we enter the last term. There was the goal by Mitchell Brower right at the death. He kicked it as the siren was sounding, and as we know, you've got to play to the umpire's whistle, so the umpires had not signalled time off as yet, even though the siren was sounding as the ball left his boot. So a really interesting end to that third term and sets up an enthralling fourth quarter. Andrew, you can get us going.
Yeah, all to play for here. Back to 24 points. It was 50 points at halftime. Just joining us, it's been a second half fight back from the Tigers. Left themselves a lot of work to do, but they've got themselves back into this one. If they can kick an early goal in the final term, you just never know. Brzezinskiak wins it down, and Gordon will get the first clearance and sets a high ball towards the half-forward line. Spoiled away by Harper. Norton dancing through some traffic, flicks it over the top to Cooney. They'll look to run the outer wing. Bearing down on him from behind was Brewer. Glover guiding up towards the half-forward line. Firing the handball back inside. Just eluded Cooney, though. Clifford now grabs the ball, tried to grab it at half-back. Had a fumble, went back, the handball over the top, but coughed it up. Now a ball inside towards Josh Green. Green arches the back. Gave it to Norton. Norton just gets his kick away. Diving in after that one Johnston, he's wrapped up. Glover, rather, he was wrapped up by Parker, who gets the free kick. Handball a little loose to Clifford, but able to recover it and send it over the top. And marking his Ogilvy, keeps it moving quickly. Much more intent about this side in the second half. Burgess the target here, just outpointed by Williamson. Couldn't quite reel in the mark though, and now on hands and knees he battles away and they find a stoppage.
Really like the contest of Ryan Williamson in this one. He's kept things pretty honest down at Kingborough's forward line. Done well for the Roos as Mapley taps it out to the back of the pack. Ball is controlled by Parker. And now Harnwell, who's been influential in this one. Brower is tackled. Takes on the tackler, but no prior opportunity, so there'll be a ball up. Kingborough have been able to create much more of a contest in and around the ball in this second half and have made it very difficult for Clarence to get that uncontested ball use. Norton, perfect example of that as he's tackled by Clifford. Harnwell wraps it up and another stoppage. So Mapley, and just to get a fingertip on the ball. Harnwell out the back, tackled well by Hanslow, and he threw it, says the umpire, to Brezenskak. So there'll be a free kick to Tyler Hanslow, and an opportunity for Clarence to move the ball in their direction. So Hanslow going to centre wing. Ball is helped by Salter over the line. It was fumbled by McGann. Good contest provided by Doyle there on the centre wing. Mapley and Brezenskak will continue to scrap. The length of Mapley gets it over to Cooney. He's tackled as he kicked it. Crowd wanted holding the ball, and the umpire does not oblige, and instead will get another stoppage. We've had about 5 of those in the last minute or so, Andrew.
Fair enough decision from the umpire there. No prior. Tried to get rid of it. Crunching tackle, though, and the tackling intensity. Jesus, lifted from the Tigers in the second half. Clifford battling away. Umpire spots a hold. That'll be an opportunity for the Tigers to go forward again. With the Bronx from the Kingborough faithful who felt they were robbed of 1 moments earlier. Burgess presenting up at half forward here. The kick guides him wide. He gathers. Hanslow just a hand on the kick though. Clifford for Burgess, who'd worked his way forward, fumbled the mark. Hanslow gets back in there, scraps away. Williamson seeks the safety of the line and finds it. The Tigers doing the attacking early here in the final term. They get that all-important first goal.
Some important moments by Tyson Hanslow early in this term with a holding the ball decision and then a spoil.
Carter out of the ruck contest, got it to Brewer. Now arching the back is Gordon, but he's caught from behind. Got it away just in time to Dygan. Some good pressure from Gapin. Clifford combines there, Lockie and Wheel. And then it's a high searching kick. The big men fly for the Roos and they spike it away. Ball didn't bounce accommodatingly for Johnston though. And now an opportunity for the Tigers as the shot on the fly from Brewer lands just short. Last line of defence, the relieving mark taken. That's too short to Banks, who'll be called to play on. Handball over the top to Johnston. And Johnston finds Millwood on a searching lead.
So Millwood on the half-back flank. Hemmed up against the boundary line. We'll go right to centre wing. Ball goes through the hands of Speed. Goes out to Johnston on the outer wing. Mark attempt by McGann. There was frontal contact, but no free kick paid. Ball spills out to Parker. Kingborough on the run through Clifford. Now here's Dygan. Dygan inside 50 in the direction of Burgess. And there's been a free kick paid. It'll be Burgess in the forward pocket with an opportunity to make this potentially an 18-point game.
I always feel like the players getting robbed when they give free kick when they're taking the mark. Just let them have the mark there. Don't rob them of the stat. It was a good contested mark from Burgess.
It was.
Huge kick in the context of this game coming up. He kicks this. It's a 3-goal ball game.
So Harry Burgess approaches, 35 metres out, tight angle. He's kicked it, and an 18-point lead now for Clarence. Kingborough continue to close. A reminder they were down by 50 at half-time. It's been an incredible comeback. They're a different side after that long break.
Yeah, they have kicked 6 of 7 goals in the second half. It was 67-17 at half-time. They have been fantastic in this second half, and they are every chance all of a sudden. Back within 18 points, they've come out strong in the final term too. Much of the play up their end of the ground. They're doing all the attacking. They're going to come home with a wet sail here, the Tigers, and cause a stunning result, really, from where they were. Clarence suddenly in a real fight here. The Tigers starting to believe. Back to the middle. Brzezinskiak on it down. Trying to bust through. Brewer fires a handball over the top. Clifford. Just a shrug free there of Mapley. Brzezinskiak gets his kick inside the forward 50. Knighton sliding in, and a chance for another one here.
Been lively in this second half, Jet Knighton. He's taken a couple of marks, kicked a goal in the third term, and an opportunity to make this just a 2-goal game.
He's going to opt to pass instead, Knighton, and he just missed the kick. You could see the intent Dygan was offering, but he caught the ball horribly wrong. That was a poor kick too. Brereton spilt it though, and that allows Glover to just thump it forward. Green on a one-on-one against Gadomski. Gadomski wins that battle, gets it across to Salter. Salter kicks it straight down the throat of Richmond. Turnovers galore here at the moment at Ninja Stadium. Back into the middle, and Fraser Turner will just settle things down at half back. Guides one into the corridor. That's a good kick, and the quick release to Gapin. Gapin goes looking for Green. Gadomski comes across with a decisive fist. Harper first to the fall of the ball. Has some support coming in the form of the Green. He just ran over the ball there. Gadomski now needs to clear the area. It's another turnover. It's gotten very scrappy here all of a sudden. Fraser Turner at half forward for the Roos. He spears a short one, and he too turns it over to Brewer. Can anyone keep a hold of the football? Brewer's kick's charged down. It has gotten sloppy here at Bellerive, and it'll be thrown in on the wing. I reckon we've had 8 turnovers in the last 90 seconds.
It's fair to say the pressure has gone up a fair few notches, and every single player is showing that whenever they get their hands on the pill, they have an opponent bearing down on them at pace. So it's Richmond and Brzezinskiak. Richmond once again winning it to the back of the pack in the direction of Bush. He is tackled, so another stoppage will take place. 18-point lead to Clarence. Approaching 10 minutes gone in this last term. Richmond with a big fist over the top. Clarence with an opportunity to get it into their forward line. Well done by Code. They've retreated a little bit far through the hands of Gadomski, and it lands fortuitously for Brereton. It will now be Clifford in the middle. On the end of it is Henry. Henry, right to the top of the square. A fist over the top from Banks, and it'll be a behind. So, handy point for Kingborough, just a 17-point lead. Chance for the Roos to play this uncontested game that they've played to great effect in the first half, as Gapin has it at half back. Gives it to Glover. Norton to the outer wing. Just sharing it around. Norton again. Further afield in the Green direction. Josh Green paddling. Trying to go off the ground. Fails to do so. Ball's now picked up by Salter. It'll be switched in the Clifford direction. Clifford further afield has Henry. Henry with a ton of space. Richmond bearing down on him now. A nice lead up by Tyler Carter. And Carter can use Henry once again, who's run forward and got himself a couple of possessions. Henry with a little chipping ball, and it's Kingborough now with a few uncontested in a row. Dygan, though, makes a mistake by foot, and the mark's taken by Harper.
Harper takes the intercept. Credit to Tyler Carter there. Jeez, he worked hard to get up. He worked from the goal square up to the wing to give them the marking target moments ago. Ultimately, doesn't lead to a score, but they are working hard. The Tigers. Richmond with strength is able to get the handball away. Long down the line from McGann. Godomski comes over the top of Green, and Green has had the better of that matchup this afternoon. But in the final term, Godomski just had a few big wins. He gets over the top there and kills the contest.
After 5 goals, you'd think that Green would get the better of that for the entire game, but full credit to Godomski winning 2 or 3 key contests in this last term.
Yeah, he moved on to him after Clifford started there, and Green was still dominant, but fighting back well in this last quarter, and they could prove pivotal if they can get a couple more goals. Again, it's just a sloppy kick. Johnston on this occasion. A clean ball use of the first half has just dissipated, although it's been given straight back in turn to Baxter Norton here, and he's a guy who usually uses the football very well indeed, and he'll drive this one in deep. Green lurking out the back, but again Godomski gets across with a fist and kills the contest. Puts it out of play. So, travelled 12 minutes into the final term here. Not 41 minutes as the ground clock's currently telling us. We've had a few issues with the scoreboard here today, as it's tossed back into play. Big stoppage here. Green tracking the football. Gets the handball back in the Norton direction. He's immediately dumped. That might be a dangerous tackle. It is. It's going to be a free kick, and it's going to spark a furious response. The bodies pile in there. It was a dumping tackle from Brewer. A free kick coming up here for the Roos on the pain of 50.
Brewer with the German suplex there on Norton, and that's just not allowed.
Yeah, it seemed a pretty clear one. And Norton has kicked a goal from a similar part of the ground already this afternoon. He gets up a little gingerly. Can he carry the journey here in the final term? And kick a steadying goal for his side. They lead by 17 points. They led by as much as 50. Baxter Norton will have to kick from about 55. And I don't think I saw Brewer move. So is that for dissent, or has he claimed he's moved on the mark? Either way, it's going to be a certain goal coming up for Baxter Norton. He'd actually opt to pass the ball rather than shoot because he didn't think he'd carry the journey.
It's Harry Burgess that's got a fair bit to say to the umpire, and the umpire that's got a fair bit to say to Harry Burgess. So I think it may have been dissent, because you're right, man on the mark didn't appear to move at all.
And Norton just slaps it through, so that is a tremendous gift, which Baxter Norton gleefully accepts, and they extend the lead to 23 points. And, yeah, someone has said something, and it's a very costly something indeed that's been said.
That's a coach killer at this level. I mean, that brings it back to 23 points. And, you know, at this midway point of the last term, with not many goals scored, there's not going to be a hell of a lot of stoppage time as we head into the end of this contest, and that goal could prove very, very costly for a Tigers side that needed a lot to go right, almost everything in this second half, and to their credit, almost everything has, and they've played extremely well, but that just undid things. We're back in the centre. Richmond going to get down the direction of Harper, and this will be cut off. Kingborough with the opportunity. The umpire's just gone down. Harper collected the umpire, or the umpire collected Harper. Norton has it on the outside, and now Turner further afield for McGann. Umpire appears okay. Harper appears okay as it goes inside 50. Through hands. McGann into the pocket, and helped over the line there by Connor Salter. So one behind. We are now to 4 straight goals, the margin for Clarence, and we've played around 15 minutes in this last term.
So the Tigers, Clifford That's a poor kick. He's turned it straight over to Paprotny. Paprotny happy to take his time here. He's got Glover screaming for it short. He's going to launch it deep inside forward 50 instead. Let the big men fly. McGann was down there off hands, and the Tigers should be able to clear defensive 50 here. Clifford. Oh dear, straight to Glover. The ball use has been really poor from both sides in this final quarter. That horrible error. Glover now sends it deep towards the goal square. Almost a mark. Mapley following up. Mapley hits the post in the end from close range. Lead now at 25 as the Tigers move it quickly to Clifford. Carter with a lung-busting run, but that's going to be ignored. He might be an option for hand over the top. He is. Tyler Carter looks to thump it over the back of the Clarence zone. Ogilvy brought it to ground. Can they get out through Henry's? Tackled by Johnson. It was a crucial one. Paprotny. Richmond on over the top. He goes back inside. Now Harper is clattered into by Carter. Will it stay in for Green? Almost, but not quite. Green certainly thought it was. He points at the boundary umpire and gives him a serve. But the boundary umpire said no, there was just enough of it across the line.
Well, that would have been real danger for Kingborough if they're not already in significant danger from the 25-point margin. Umpire throws it back in. Brezinskak out to Clifford. Ends up in the hands of Harmwell. Right through the centre, and a searching ball finds Brewer. Brewer right inside 50. And this man, Knighton, has been really impressive in the second half.
Just cleared out the 450 there. It was Knighton in the goal square and a one-on-one, and no one in the 40 metres of open field in front of him. When they got the ball, just put it out in front of him.
So Knighton approaches from 35 out and misses just to the left, near side.
Couple of let-offs for Knighton in this final term, isn't it? He opted to pass one and then couldn't take that chance. He's been lively, just the end product missing perhaps.
Back to a 24-point margin. We approach 18 minutes gone. Ball in the hands of McGuinness, who laid a crunching tackle earlier in this term. We'll end up with Clifford on the wing, searching in the direction of Brewer. He'll be rewarded a free kick for an infringement. So we'll go back to Mitchell Brewer, who's at 70 metres out. He plays on quickly, drives it inside 50, right to the top of the square. Ball goes through the hands of Most, and it's missed by Stevenson to the near side.
Just not quite taking their chances here, the Tigers. 23 points the margin, but towards the 19-minute mark of the final term, leading 4 goals. Chances in the last few moments they could ill afford to miss. Ogilvy. Great tackle there from Joe Millward. Really well. That effort from the big fella.
Great physicality from the big man. I mean, we've spoken about Clarence's point of difference for the whole game with Richmond, Mapley and Millward. They've just got a lot of tall stocks to be able to go to.
And there is Richmond in the ruck against Brzezinski, who did nicely at ground level that time. Norton just cleverly flicked it over the top. Cooney battling with his opposite number, Clifford. Gordon comes away with the football, drives them in the Tyler Carter direction. Spoiling his own man in the end was Ogilvy. Coming away with that Hanslow, combines with Johnson and then storms off half-back. Scything through the middle of the ground now. Baxter Norton flicks the handball to Gapin. Gapin looks up and spies Green, who slides in and takes the mark ahead of Godomski. Lightning fast football through the middle of the ground there. And Josh Green, who's kicked 5 today, will go back and try and make it a 6-pack.
Well, that's 20 minutes of extremely good defending by Godomski, and unfortunately he's given up a late opportunity for Josh Green, although he is a fair way out.
Yeah, not much you could do there with the ball coming in that rate of knots through the mill. So
That's right.
Josh Green for his 6th, and to surely seal the contest, he sends it on its way from 50. It's just offline. It's an even 24 points as we tick into red time in the final quarter.
So Kingborough have to go now. Have to move it end to end very quickly. They get it to the outer wing. In the Millwood direction. He overruns it, but applies a bit of a tackle as well. Kingborough just trying desperately to get as much territory as they can. Paprotny is there. Norton in there as well. And there'll be a free kick to Paprotny. So Clarence with an opportunity to just take a little bit of time and a little bit of heat out of this game. Ends up in the hands of Banks. Banks straight up the wing in the Millwood direction. He taps it really, really cleverly in the direction of Gapin. Gapin off to Turner. Deep inside 50 in the green direction. That might have been a little bit ambitious. There's Cooney, but it's cut off really nicely by Brewer. And there was a throw.
The most blatant throw you'll ever see.
I don't know what he thought he was going to get away with there, but he didn't. So an opportunity here for Glover. He'll kick from around the 50 on a very, very tight angle, but take every second of his 30.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking there. That was extraordinarily blatant. Just flying straight up.
James Glover, 12 goals on the season, 7th in goal kicking in the SFL Premier League. An opportunity to add to his tally. He does pop it up to the top of the square. Green was roving, recovers his own miss. Tackle applied, and that will be holding the ball. So good pressure in there from Kingborough, who once again have to move it relatively quickly. They will try and do so. Godomski over the top to Brewer. Manages to step around the defender. Goes further afield. Back to Brewer in the Millwood direction. Or Harnwell direction. And Clifford. Tackle applied to Code. And good tackle by Josh Green. But slipped a little bit too high, did he? And
in the back.
In the back, and then Code will get a free kick. But it did slow down Kingborough. So it might have been a bit of a professional free kick by Josh Green. Going inside 50 of the Tigers. Spills the direction of Burgess. And now out to Parker. Parker off the right boot. Over the top. Ball spills into the square. Manages recovery. Here's Harper. Gets it outside 50. And Clarence will take over.
So looking to counter back the other way, the Roos here. Josh Green in another one-on-one with Godomski. Uses the body, but out the back favouring Godomski. He kicks it out there towards Code, put him under some pressure, but he was up to the task, Jonty Code. Did it nicely. Got it back to Godomski, who heads wide. They'll look to send it inside forward 50 here. Lee's presenting themselves. Stevenson was just caught behind, though. Turner combining with Norton. Norton round the corner. They got some numbers on the wing here, and Banks just charging forward with the football. Green's peeled out the back. Will it sit for him? It bounces in his direction. It does. Josh Green improves the angle and kicks. A sixth that will seal the contest for Clarence. Josh Green with 6 goals and Clarence with 4 points. It was much harder fought than we thought it was going to be at half-time. And they're going to get there in the end.
What a classy finish by Josh Green. He's kicked 5 goals, I think, then went missing for a long period of time, which you have to credit to Lachlan Godomski for some fantastic defending throughout, particularly this term. But he just kept getting opportunities. And that's been, I think, the hallmark of the Clarence game. They've kept giving themselves opportunities inside 50. They've kept moving the ball quickly inside 50. And that time, you just can't deny Josh Green after that many attempts.
He's just such a smart player. He knows how to get free, when to peel off the back of a contest, get separation. And 6 goals, he's been the difference.
So Richmond out of the centre. Tackle applied by Gapin. Only goes so far as Gordon, who's been pretty good in this contest. Feeds Clifford, going inside 50. All Clarence in there with McGuinness taking a saving mark and finding Harper. across the teeth of goal. Harper out in the direction of Big Richmond. Richmond uses Banks and then back to Richmond. He's slowing it down, but now they play on. Banks kicking it inside 50 in the green direction. Another spoil and another stoppage inside 50, or just outside 50, sorry, for Clarence. About the 26-minute mark, I believe, of this final term. Although if you believe Ninja Stadium, we're at the 55-minute mark almost. Richmond in the Proprotny direction, and there'll be a free kick plucked here. Go the way of Oscar Proprotny. He's had a couple of free kicks in these stoppage situations in this term. Been asked to move it on, so he will go deep inside 50 once again in the green direction. Ball killed by the Kingborough defence, and now it's Gordon. Streaming outside 50 in the Dygon direction. He takes a mark. Uses Henry. And now no one really home for Kingborough at all. So Ben McGuinness will let it go over the line for a behind. And that kick was just a little bit too deep as McGuinness finds Bush.
So Bush, centering ball. No gape and work for it, but he's up to the task. That's ahead of Parker. Sting out of this one now, the Roos. They're going to win, but second half fight back. Millwood,
nice mark.
Done some impressive work in the air today. Going forward.
He's got Glover here, just short.
Instead, he'll just pump it deep inside the forward 50. Off hands out the back of the contest. Williamson is pinged for holding the ball as he tried to drop the ball on his boot and shoot for goal. Tackle was laid and he's been pinged by the umpire. Short ball for Doyle. He'll send it into the corridor looking for Burgess. Oh, Harnwell from behind. Gordon springs away with the football, charges out the back. Drew man to him, then flick the handball over the top. Flying shot on goal from Henry. Won't have the journey and won't have the time because the final siren sounds here at Ninja Stadium. And Clarence walk away with a 29-point victory. The Tigers were much improved in the second half, but they simply left themselves far too much work to do after they were jumped by the Roos, who kicked 7 goals, 5 of them in the first 10 minutes. They were blistering out of the blocks, set themselves up for victory, and in the end, walk away 29-point victors. An entertaining contest here at Bellerive, Adam Webster.
It was. I think, we braced ourselves for a dramatic margin, particularly with how the Roos started in this contest. But then Kingborough, to their credit, after a long break, came out and just worked their way back into the game slowly. Clarence did it decisively in the first term. They went bang, 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 whereas Kingborough just worked their way back into the game, throttled Clarence's ability to be able to score, and then made it into a contest. But Clarence, the class, sort of prevailed in the last 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, it certainly did set the victory up in the first half. They were challenged, responded well at the end. The Tigers, they've got a bit of a first half problem they're going to need to address going forward for the rest of the season. I think Clarence, meanwhile, they'll be happy to get another 4 points here today. Keep up the pressure on Lauderdale at the top of the ladder. Of course, had that shock result, losing to Glenorchy last week, just opening the door a little bit. They do look like the top 2 in the competition this year. Before we sign off, we might go through some of the better players. Who did you like out there today, Adam?
Well, I think for Clarence, it starts with the big ruckman Ben Richmond. He was able to get his side first use all day. I really like the contribution of Oscar Proprotny across the contest as well. I think Baxter Norton had some really good moments, and you can't really go past Josh Green with his 6 goals in the contest as well. They were the better players for me for Clarence.
And it was certainly a starring role from Green. From the Tigers, I thought Lockie Clifford really lifted in the second half. Harry Burgess competed quite well. Gordon had some dash, probably didn't get involved a heap, but when he did, looked promising out there. And I think Pat Harnwell was probably their best player on the day. I thought he was consistent across all 4 quarters. Didn't have a lot of winners in the first half. They were a lot better in the second. Mitch Brewer, another one. But that'll do us from the men's clash here at Ninja Stadium. A 29-point victory for Clarence Roos. Their women's side's about to meet in the second match of this doubleheader from the Men's Premier League. Andrew Cooling and Adam Webster, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you with the women shortly.